quality control specialist from Greenville, Texas, Jared Watson.
Jared, you are our new Jeopardy champion. Congratulations. Oh, man, is right.
I do not know.
It is the HMS Pinafore.
Mr. Worf, do you know Gilbert and Sullivan?
No, sir. I have not had a chance to meet all the new crew members since I have been back.
They're composers, Worf. From the 19th century.
Oh, yes, and welcome to the Trek Time Trek Show, beaming in straight from outer space. We are here, and big congratulations to our very good friend and co-host, Big McLargehuge, for his absolutely impressive Jeopardy appearances. Sorry, spoiler slightly there, but definitely if you've got access to some sort of medium in watching Jeopardy, go watch his performance, because it was amazing. It was really good. Like, I've never watched Jeopardy before in my life, and like the instructional video, he set the bar high. That's what I'll say. If I watch it again, I'll be expecting that performance from anyone else that goes on there. And eagle-eyed listeners might listen to that same guitar lick on our intro music there. He also did the guitar for that. But yes, we are here for the Trek Time Trek Show. We've got some news about Strange New Worlds. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Resurgence that is out now. We're talking about a little bit about Khan the musical. Hopefully Shai will be on a little bit later. He's got some work to do apparently. And we'll have some thoughts about Picard Season 3 on this show. We're actually going to open the floodgates and say, haha, if you haven't watched it, turn off now, because we are going to spoil. Joining me tonight on my right, our host and fantastic person himself, Frank Frank, future host of Timelines Talks The Next Generation, by the way. And joining us below at last minute, thank you, Mr. LowCostMonkey, established British civil servant and man responsible for getting me very, very drunk recently at a recent convention we had in London. Oh,
you were very happy.
I was very happy talking about Black Pudding. It was absolutely fantastic. Gentlemen, how are we today? How are you? Frank, how are things going in the... What's happening in the world of Frank?
I don't even know where to start, because I want to make jokes about Big, and I want to make jokes about Nifty, who also technically was a link to Jeopardy, and so many things I could say. Amazing, first of all, that Big even made it beyond the first 5 minutes of Jeopardy after the humiliating, humbling defeat he had in Pros and Cons back in the charity stream. At my hands, he was eviscerated, emancipated, emaciated, just never to see anything. But really, the true joy of my day is being here with somebody who will remind you that you have no life whatsoever. LowCostMonkey.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but then there I am at short notice with nothing to do but be here. So.
This is true. The mainstay of one of our Discord's emojis is the LowCostMonkey clap.
Rightly so.
Absolutely. If anyone wondering what the Nifty Mittens connection is, Nifty Mittens are one wonderful member of our community, and Big Book Writer was in the audience for Big's Jeopardy appearance as well, and so got to give us some more. I think we had a little sort of in the Discord stream. We were watching the episode, but don't tell people how we were watching it. We were all watching it together, and there was Nifty and Big in there giving us some sort of behind the scenes sort of like information. It was really fascinating. It was really cool. Definitely interesting to listen to. Absolutely big congratulations to Big for how he done. But it was very, 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 very cool to see him on there. And then he messaged me about 2-3 weeks ago to say, like, I really want to do this whole guitar thing. So he sent me all the guitar tracks. He sent me all the video tracks and went, there you go. Do some stuff with it. I'm like, okay, right, fine. Which, to be fair, the tracks he sent me were really clean, so it was really nice and easy to work with, and put them all together and then produce that lovely little video. But yeah, which got featured in the Sun as well. The Sun newspaper, fine establishment of British journalism. No, I can't say that with a straight face, but they did report it. It was interesting. He's made some.
I get all my news from the Sun.
Yes, it is warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So how many views did you get on that video?
I don't know, I think about 400.
Well, the Sun's readership. The Sun's readership and Star Trek fan Venn diagram is probably quite...
Well, for some people, there was... on Big's latest appearance, he did throw up the Vulcan salute as part of his intro, which was very cool. It was very cool. I have all those in HD. I might be doing something with them. That could be fun. But on with the Star Trek news. You know what's coming up next week. Literally next week. Oh, Agent Danielle. Oh, no, you might be fucking up my green screen. I haven't thought about this. Oh, no, my lights don't work. Why are my lights not working? Never mind that. Anyway, thank you, Agent Danielle, for subscribing. So yes, it worked, but it didn't work. It's fine. I didn't think of that when I was, because I've got my green screen working, hence by the stars. But no, thank you, Danielle, for resubscribing. But yes, you know what is coming up next week. It is Strange New Worlds Season 2 is finally here. There is a lot of hype going into this, and I'm very excited. They've dropped some more trailers since we last spoke about this, including one with... Boimler and Mariner as appearing as the crossover, which a lot of people were very surprised about, considering about a year ago they mentioned that Jonathan Frakes was directing a Lower Decks Strange New Worlds crossover. I was like, yeah, it was happening. It is happening. It actually has happening. Guys, have you seen... I mean, I know, Monkey, you've still got to catch up on Strange New Worlds Season 1, but have you seen the Strange New Worlds trailer or the latest trailers? Have you caught up and seen what's coming up?
I haven't. Listen, I'm sorry, I apologise profusely. I haven't caught up fully with Strange New Worlds yet. It's brilliant. I love it. I can't remember where I'm up to. I think I got up to the episode called the musical Asteroid of Fate.
The Children of the Comet.
Yeah.
That one. Is that episode 2?
Oh, is it? No, I've seen a few.
Maybe episode 3?
I think it's episode 3.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
I'm actually kind of excited for
the Gorn one. I saw the Gorn one.
The Gorn one. What?
There's multiple Gorn.
Then the first one.
That's the first one. Oh, the submarine episode one, where they're being sort of chased through the nebula. Yeah, that's a very good one. That's really good.
Really tense.
That's excellent.
But I'm still catching up on Enterprise. I've got some way to go. I'm on season 3 of Enterprise now, which is great.
Take it from me, you can skip Enterprise and just watch Strange New Worlds. You will be a lot. Don't let Racing Line hear this, but you will be a lot better off for this.
Yeah, well, I intend to catch up before season 2 because YouTube thumbnail spoilers just ruin shows for me. And
that is a problem.
Did they ruin Picard season 3 for me? But so I'm not going to make the same mistake twice, and I will catch up. I have a mission.
And we will ruin Picard season 3 for everyone.
It's not a 5-year mission.
I did actually check with you guys that you'd finished season. Everyone here has finished Picard season 3, so that's good.
I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, Frank, so what do you think? So season 2 trailer has aired. We've had multiple trailers. There's a lot of things going on.
I think a lot of us together even have poured over frame by frame in some places because it's so... Like, I think Strange New Worlds is, and I'm not going to upset, hopefully I'll upset a lot of people, I don't know. If you make your hierarchy of Trek or what you personally like, of course, I think most of us, given our age, are going to say TNG is like way up there. DS9, probably second place. Yeah.
Season 3 of TOS.
But this, Strange New Worlds, felt like... Trek. It was so well done. It was so well acted. It was just.
Thank you, Cranky. Actually, these should be appearing.
Noted family of the stream, Cranky, and fellow bald. I'm the only person with hair in this whole damn production. So
clearly, you're the expert then. He has the taller brow.
It's such a good show, and it's so well done, written, acted, shot. It's beautiful, the visuals and everything. So I have like high expectations, but also no expectation. Like, I don't think they can disappoint me in season 2. And then when they came out and they said, "Oh, hey, we're going to do a crossover," immediately the people that hate Lower Decks, like their heads exploded. And
how could they do this?
I wondered how they were going to do it, and I really honestly thought they were going to go animated.
I think a part of it is. I think a part of the episode will be animated.
I think they will. I still am holding out that they will, but we know for a fact now from the trailers that there will be live action, and it is chef's kiss, spot on, perfect.
There's a bit of drama with that. It's drama for me because I forget where I was. I was on a subreddit called OK Buddy Packled, which is like a complete Star Trek shitposting subreddit, like of all places. And there was just a picture on there of Pike standing on the transport pad with someone behind him, and then with just like some meme images over the top. And I looked and I went, that looks like Boimler. And I looked at it and went, holy shit, that is. So immediately he was like, got to search for latest freaking Strange New Worlds trailer. I was like, I've got to have they launched a trailer? I need to see it. And they found one, and I found one. It was some French site had leaked out an early trailer that they weren't supposed to. So immediately,
it's always the French.
Exactly, it's always the French. So immediately screen capped it, posted it to Twitter, and because of the timing, it got shitloads of views. So I was very happy with that, and just like, hey, cool. And it got taken down by Twitter on the behalf of Paramount, and I was just like, what are you doing? Like, I get that you want to have your reveals in your own trailers, but it's there now. Like, and it was very much a lot of reactions to that were a combination of people who knew, who were hyped, like, oh my god, Mariner and Boimler, they're in Star Trek, here it is, they're in Strange New Worlds, they look so good, because, no surprise, Tawny Newsome and not Jack Quaid look really good as their characters. They're based on them. It's really good. A few people kind of going, wait, what? How does this happen? The timeline doesn't make any sense. This is Star Trek being bullshit. And a third group of people going, oh, Lower Decks. So it was interesting seeing the people's reactions to that. But I'm hyped.
Oh yeah, same here. I love it. I'm in Lower Decks. How can you not like Lower Decks? What, you must be dead inside.
People wouldn't like it. Like, it's not because my dad introduced me to Star Trek. So, but he loves things like TNG and DS9. And like you said, Frank, he watched Strange New Worlds and he said, "Oh, good. This feels like real Trek." Like, I can't. I can argue that point all day, but if for certain people and viewers, I'm not going to have that argument with them because I know what it's going to be like. But with my dad, I'll appreciate that, yeah, he's not going to like Discovery, but he will like Strange New Worlds. But I know that he would hate Lower Decks because of the type, because I tried to introduce him to Futurama, which he just went, oh no, it's animated, I'm not watching it, it's a child's cartoon. Like, so that's not going to happen. So yeah.
But Lower Decks is a love letter to Star Trek.
Absolutely.
Right.
More so than Strange New Worlds or Picard or anything else. If there is a reference to shoehorn in, they shoehorn it in hard.
Literally, they had an episode. They went through a museum of old Star Trek relics, and it was it referenced the episode. But and
it makes you nostalgic for things too, because if there's something that you're like, I'm hazy on that memory, it'll cause you to go look it up or find the episode and watch it and reference it. I mean, it doesn't leave you in the dark.
It's interesting. Like, it's had the same effect on like the wider Star Trek world that, you know, 'cause obviously we're all playing or ex-playing Star Trek Timelines fans, but Star Trek Timelines has that effect that when you get a card, you're just like, what is this random character from this random episode? You kind of look at a memory alpha and you kind of, your knowledge is infused. So when I go to my friends and they just like, oh, what episode is this from? It's like, I know it's from that episode. And they go, you're sad. And I'm like, yeah.
This week's Tuesday pack, 5-star Paler Toff, available to you. Good luck, nerds. He was in 30 seconds of an episode.
Yeah, he was.
It's still going then.
It is still, yes, I agree with you there. It's still going, it is still going, it is still alive, and yeah, we are unfortunately still playing it, but there is, we are there.
Save me, please, save me. Pull me.
Unfortunately,
to the
you are
light.
going to be hosting Timelines Talks The Next Generation, which is airing on June the 5th, 16th. Funny story, that's actually the same day as my anniversary, and I said to my wife, what should we do for our anniversary? And she went, I'm working. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a stream. We're going to talk about Strange New Worlds.
Well, and special announcement, special guest of our stream.
Ooh.
Captain Idol. Yes.
Well, I think you start airing at like midnight, don't you?
Yes, but it's
My
your
time.
anniversary. She's working. It's fine. This is how you pay her back for working on your anniversary. Well, I've got a thing at midnight.
You've got, I mean,
Got a thing at midnight.
All pilot episodes of spin-off series have to have
Yes.
a main character appear
That's
in the
true.
pilot episode.
That's
So,
very
I
true.
mean, if it's not going to be you.
All right, I'll come in with some really old makeup, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
damn, where'd you find the ship, boy?
Yeah, make it look like you're losing your hair.
So I'll shave some more then, shall I? Sorry, I'm midway through a beer. This is a, what's this called? This is called Big on Haze. This is a Big on Haze. It's a colourful can. It's a lovely can. So yeah, like there's a few threads from season. Sorry, Monkey. Spoil a little bit. We're not going to spoil. It's not a huge spoiler because you can't really spoil Strange New Worlds other than
It's
some.
episodic, right?
You know,
It's not
I mean,
like
you
a
know about
serialized.
you've heard about Hemmer, right?
Who?
Okay, never mind. Moving on.
He's the engineer. It's
He
fine.
is the engineer. Okay, we'll go no further. Anyway, so we have there is the through line
Yeah,
with.
tell you what, you go nuts.
Okay.
I've got my quick release disconnect, and I need to get another beer. Hammer
We'll do
all
it.
the way.
All right, let's.
Oh wait, I've already quick disconnected, so I can't hear what you're saying.
Okay, that's
Well,
fine.
good, because in season 2 we meet the new engineer,
We
played
do.
by Carol Kane, which is amazing.
Indeed,
What's
yes.
happening?
Indeed, we do. Yeah, Carol Kane's new engineer. We've also got the follow-on through line with Una, the court. There's going to be a court scene. I've seen some dress uniforms. I've seen people. I haven't actually. There's a little clip of the courtroom scene, which apparently is episode 2, not the first episode, which is quite interesting. I've heard on the grapevine. So that's coming up. I've actually there are in fact episode titles. Let me find them because we won't talk about this. Season 2 episode titles. We won't talk about them a lot because next week we're going to be doing a whole. I can't type and talk. Next week we're going to do our big Strange New Worlds breakdown. But here we go. So Strange New Worlds season 2 episode titles. We have, and there's a lot in here that provokes intrigue. The first one's called The Broken Circle, which not much to give away there. The second one is Ad Astra per Aspera, which is Latin, and I did translate this earlier, and I'm going to do Latin to English.
Who remembers their Latin lessons?
Indeed. Ad Astra, which means to the stars.
Conjugate correctly.
Per Aspera, which means to the stars through difficulties, and that is what is believed to be the courtroom episode. From what I've heard from early screeners, it is a stunning episode on the lines of Measure of the Man. It is something that's probably going to be held up high in the esteemed areas. So I've set some expectations there that I wish I hadn't, and I've now passed them on to you. That is my present. You are welcome. We got tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, which, if that doesn't sound like the time travel episode where we've seen the Guardian of Forever, I don't know what. We've got Among the Lotus Eaters. Is that a biblical phrase, the Lotus Eaters? Is there anyone out there well versed with the Bible that could tell me what that means?
Well, plagues of lotuses will descend upon man as the 5th or 6th biblical plague.
That's the 4th
but
episode.
What eats a lotus? Who watches the watchers?
Sorry, lotus and locust. Sorry, yeah, that's different things.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, yes. We've also got Charades as episode 5. Episode 6, Lost in Translation. Episode 7, Those Old Scientists. If that isn't the Mariner Boimler episode, it's got to be, really, hasn't it? Because they even reference those old scientists. 8, Under the Cloak of War. Now, episode 9 is an interesting one. It's called Subspace Rhapsody. I've heard some very compelling rumours that this is a musical episode, which leads me to wonder, because Christina Chong...
Kind of like the Elysia Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Christina Chong has an album coming out the same day as the Strange New Worlds release date. So we've got singing credentials in there as well. Celia Gooding is, absolutely a singer, as she's been proven before. I don't know about the rest. I don't know how good a singer Anson Mount is. Probably amazing. My hopes are set high.
I don't think they'd even have to be... They could be passable because they all genuinely... look like they're enjoying what they're doing, and they're having fun. And I think that they would give 110%. But also because of the age we live in, auto tune is a miraculous thing, and you can make anybody sound good.
Work for Milli Vanilli.
Yes.
But there's no. What's great about Strange New Worlds? None of those are going to be the episode where the holodeck safety protocols malfunction. Because there's no holodeck. Your de rigueur episode per Star Trek series.
No, but I mean, they kind of did that with the... Well, you haven't watched it yet, but they kind of did that with the Elysian Kingdom, which is essentially a holodeck episode gone wrong in a different way. But it's fun. They do a fun way. But it has been said that season 2 is going to be more crazy than season 1. It's going to be a bit more out there.
They did all the normal I say all the normal. They did basically the normal tropes of Star Trek in season 1. They just took them one at a time and did them very well.
Yes.
And I have the same expectations for season 2, and going off the episode titles and what we've seen from the trailers. Yeah. I think that's right in line, and my guess is they've given us little nuggets, including the latest trailer, which really confirmed Mr. Boimler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is just the greatest thing ever. If they're showing us that, just like any trailer anywhere, you show them something really good, but you don't show them the holy crap, oh my God stuff. There's even better stuff out there that we don't know about. So I'm trying to taper my expectations, but knowing, dude, if this is what I'm being given in advance, oh boy.
Let's praise thanks to Henry Alonso Myers, because he's directed the first episode and the last episode, which is called Hegemony, which is probably going to be related to the Gorn arc that has been one of the sort of semi-serialized arcs through season 1 of Strange New Worlds. But he is also the showrunner, Henry Alonso Myers, and Akiva Goldsman. Obviously, we know Akiva Goldsman as being sort of the architect alongside Alex Kurtzman, alongside a lot of modern Trek. But yeah, this is Henry Alonso Myers' baby, and considering his work beforehand wasn't very sci-fi orientated at all, he is just absolutely the right person for the job, apparently, because this season the last season has been absolutely knockout, and I actually can't wait. Cairo in chat says, from Memory Alpha, the Latin phrase on the pre-Federation Starfleet seal is ad astra per aspera per the episode, which translate roughly as to the stars through hardships. It's a modified version of the NASA motto per aspera ad astra, through hardships to the stars, which is, it's interesting. So there's going to be... isn't that a modification on the Kennedy phrase? Do you mean the Kennedy speech? Like, if it is, we don't do it because it is easy, we do it because it is hard. I kind of love that phrase. I'm not a huge American president person, but I do really like that phrase. Like, we're doing it because it is difficult, because it is, we can learn a lot from it.
That is an incredible experience.
It's really
Every
good.
now and then I watch that whole speech.
Yeah.
It's really moving.
It was the right person at the right time to kind of go like, let's go to the moon. But we're going to be doing it again soon. If anyone's following the Artemis missions, the NASA's Artemis missions, I believe the Artemis 1 went up and came down quite successfully, and Artemis 2 is going to go round the moon. And then Artemis 3 in like 2025, 26 is going to be landing people on the moon once again. The first time since like 1970. Is it tomorrow going around the moon?
No, Artemis 1 went around the moon.
Oh.
Artemis 2 goes around the moon, but this time, people.
Did Artemis 1? Oh.
The humans.
The humans that do it. Okay.
It's amazing to think that allegedly we put people in space and on the moon 50, 60 years ago, allegedly. Not sure about this. And there was a lot of trial and error. No, not at all. It's all fake. Green screened. 1960s CGI. But it was amazing that it was oh my God, see, he's in on it. Captain Idol is in on the conspiracy, folks.
For
Confirmed.
Nothing happened.
Nothing at all. It's amazing because it was all born out of, an arms race, who can get there first and everything. But a lot of safety, like human safety, was kind of thrown out the window.
Oh God,
and
yeah.
you look at it now, 60 years later, with the technology that we put people on the moon allegedly with. Like, I have more technology in my watch right now than the rocket ships and the computers that put them there. Now, 60 years later, we're being very cautious getting people back, but we have more reason to, because the moon's not really the final destination. The final destination is Jupiter. The great beyond. Mars, Jupiter, who knows, Pluto.
Italy.
So it's fun to me to see that they're actually like incrementally saying, okay, let's, in all the different companies, let's launch a booster. Let's make sure we can do that safely. Okay, we can do that. Let's circle the moon. Let's circle the moon with people instead of, okay, good luck. Have fun storming the castle.
If you want to listen to something absolutely harrowing, is read the story and then listen to the report, the live interaction of Apollo 1, the very first capsule test. It is haunting, and they knew they were going in there. Well, 90% sure some people knew they were going in there to die. Like, it was horrible, and they learned. The unfortunate thing is they learned so much from those tests that it feels like the Apollo mission, but it is through fate. And Challenger mission as well was an absolutely harrowing incident that was horrible. But I think the reason we haven't gone back to the moon very recently is we have a lot more safety to think about these days, and there's a lot more procedure, which it is annoying to kind of go through these loops and dotting the T's and crossing the I's, but it saves lives, and that's the important thing.
Well, and with any science, with any experiment, with any bit of knowledge is best gained, and advancements are best gained through failure. Through failure, you advance.
I'm trying to teach my children that.
And it's a great thing to teach children because they don't get confused that they always have to win. Losers are winners too. And unfortunately, in this case, it could mean losing human lives. But I think people who get into that role and get to that height of acting on a green screen, pretending that they're on the moon, or real astronauts, excuse me, they understand that their sacrifice, even if it has to happen, is far greater than the sum of what they have right now, and they willingly do it. I mean, it sucks, but they would willingly make that sacrifice for future generations to be able to do so much more and learn. So those people truly are great pioneers and heroes.
And they got to go to the moon. I'd love to go to the moon. You see how high you can jump on the moon? That's awesome.
You could just go to one of those bounce places. Just get a trampoline.
Yeah, I'm not allowed there anymore.
Same thing.
I'm banned.
Less dry, and you can go to the bar afterwards. There's no bars on the moon.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, not yet, exactly. We've got to go there, we've got to establish, first thing you got to establish is, local bar.
Wild
7-Eleven. Yeah. But the moon is, it's a jumping off point.
Do you think we will see a McDonald's on the moon in our lifetime? Will there be a Starbucks on the moon?
No, anything that requires a lot of oxygen and a lot of water, probably not. But the method that we're using now to go to the moon, it's so different to how it was originally done with Apollo, where it was all in one rocket. Whereas now, there'll be the transition vehicle between the Earth and the Moon. Then there's effectively a mini space station orbiting the Moon, where the astronauts will then dock. And then there is a purpose sort of built version of SpaceX's Starship, which goes its only job is to go down to the Moon and then back up again. It doesn't come back to Earth; it just keeps coming up and back and down. So it's a lot more advanced and a lot more sophisticated.
You talk about things that do different, like our we're enjoying. We're all about the off topic. Like one person that was absolutely amazing during like the early '60s, sort of like NASA missions. Because back then you didn't have computers. And if you did, they were very, very, very basic. Hole punch kind of machines that did sort of basic calculations. Everything was done by hand. There's a very famous photo out there of Katherine Johnson, an American mathematician who was standing next to a stack of books, like as high as her head, and that was like all the calculations that she did by hand to get people into space. That's the kind of hardships and things they had to do just to fire a rocket into space. Like you kind of, because I was thinking about this the other day, well, you just big rocket, go, boom, up you go into space, woo. Then you're there, and then you do all the fancy stuff. But no, it's a lot more complicated than that. It's crazy.
And played brilliantly in the film Hidden Figures as well. A wonderful film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Warp Speed.
Warp Speed. That'll hopefully happen. So Strange New Worlds starting next week. Absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait. Literally, I'm so excited. Little bit of bad news. If you've not heard, there is a lot of striking going on with writers in America at the moment. The WGA, the Saga, and a lot of other established writers guilds have gone on strike recently, and usually when there's a writer's strike there is a lapse in episodes. We only have to look at Shades of Grey from season 2 of The Next Generation to see the implications of a writer's strike. But this is one of the biggest writer strikes of all time that is happening, and it's a very important one because due to recent developments like streaming and the rise of artificial intelligence being able to write scripts of a fashion, there is definitely a threat to the jobs in various ways, and a lot of people aren't getting. I think the main thing is with the streaming, with writers not getting the proper residuals and right kind of payments. So there's a lot of striking going on, and full support to everyone. You do your work, you want to get paid a proper amount. If you want to learn more about that, I very encourage you to go and listen to Open Pike Night, another fellow podcast. Jesse is in our Discord as well from the Open Pike Night. The great podcast. They've literally just done one interviewing the Strange New Worlds cast as well. But they had a interview with Bill Wyckoff, who is one of the lead strikers and a writer on Strange New Worlds, who is striking at the moment, and it's a fascinating interview, listening to about what the processes are, why this has come about, and all the support towards it. So I definitely encourage you, if you want to learn more about the writer strike that's happening at the moment and why it's kind of one of the most important ones, go and listen to that. Because of this writer strike, unfortunately, Strange New World season 3 has paused production, along with a long list of other productions. A lot of Marvel stuff's been affected, and I think this is definitely one of these situations where I think we should all be like, yeah, we're probably going to get Strange New World season 3 later, but for a good reason. Like, this is
it just gives me time to catch up. So
yeah,
strike all you want. I've got so much Star Trek to watch.
So yeah, that's something. Strange New World season 3 is going to be delayed. I assume Section 31 will be as well. Is
the film now?
The film now, indeed, the film of Section 31 starring Michelle Yeoh, who I'm still not convinced is going to happen, but we'll see. I know a lot of people have called me out on that, just saying like, no, it's going to happen. I'm like, I'll believe it when they're filming. And even then, could
it be the first blamed tragedy and loss of the strike? Because not only are the writers now well into strike, and that we had this discussion talking about Jeopardy, because I asked some not inside questions to people unrelated to anybody that's been on the show. Said, okay, obviously Jeopardy has writers, scripted TV has writers, games, everybody's got writers. So if they've go on strike, but the writers have written like 20 shows in advance, well, you can keep going, obviously, because the stuff's already written, unless you want to stand in solidarity with your worker mates and your friends and your family members, which is what the producers and the directors guilds and they're all starting to do. And eventually you're going to get the actors say, you know what? Nah, us too. And when that happens, everything stops. So I could actually see the Section 31 long trek, I think, be a victim of all this, and they go, yeah, you know, it's now been delayed by 2 years, and that's not going to fit into Michelle's schedule, so we'll have to figure out something else.
I'm glad I'm not alone in this.
Well, you know, maybe then, you know, we'll have to start looking at other scripts or that already exist for Star Trek to then turn that into a film, or even a musical film.
Oh, yeah, and that's not what you were talking about, a film production of a very popular off-Broadway musical.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'm sure
it's very confusing, isn't it? Yeah, and we'll have to ask I'll have to ask someone about that later on. So yeah, very serious issue. If you want to support people, please retweet about it and have a look on and listen to Open Pike Night's very interesting interview with Bill Wyckoff. Very worth a listen, and they're also very entertaining and fun guys to listen to as well. They're a good podcast. Some good news though. If you're a Paramount Plus subscriber in the US, and I think in the UK as well, all of the 10 TOS and TNG movies are now back on Paramount Plus after leaving them for about a month or 2 months for no real reason. I don't know why. I cannot understand this world. Rights are weird. Like it seems like there's no common sense with them. Like you have this franchise, put all the films together. No, because you had this person acting in it, and now all of them have to come out. And it's a very, you know, we can't have Magic Carpet Ride on Paramount Plus in between March and May because. Can't have people enjoying First Contact. But the good news is they are from the 1st of June, they are now back on Paramount Plus. So please, the motion picture director's cut is on there. Go and watch it. You will have a transcendent hour and a half of 2 hours of your life. And
if you do illicit drugs first.
Not going to complain of that either. There's many ways to get into, you know.
I'm with you, Idol. I think it's a great film.
Thank you. This is why
it's a science fiction film.
That's why you're my favorite.
My biggest problem, because I saw it in the theater, I guess last year when they brought it back for the big anniversary, which was, of course, my first time. The first Trek movie I saw in theaters was Wrath of Khan, so this is my first time seeing motion picture in theaters. It ends like an episode. Like you can tell when they're like, shit, we ran out of time. Let's just wrap everything up. Okay, bye, credits. They're just like, okay, well, we just beamed no longer a captain and Miss Celibacy down, and they're gonna stay there. Okay, bye.
Yeah,
let's warp out. And it's like, but there's so what? And then the credits.
It's of the era though as well, and
yeah.
You think of the era coming off of 2000.
Yeah, it was very Kubrick inspired. Like it's massively, it's so inspired from that.
And then what a gear shift to Wrath of Khan, and that, you know, I think arguably a lot of people would rate that as their favorite. Star Trek 6, personally, for me, only just nudges Star Trek 2.
I could see that.
But yeah,
I agree. 3 and 4 together are the best episode of Star Trek ever. It's a 2-part episode.
A lot of people rag on the Search for Spock. I really do like the Search for Spock. Yeah, I think it's fine. Like a lot of people, there's the rumor saying, oh, all the odd numbered Star Treks are crap. I'm like, well, no, they're not. They're really apart from the Final Frontier. That's the only one I will probably say is actually a bad Star Trek film.
Even 5 has its redeeming parts because you got a little bit of character development and a little bit of acting and a little bit of dialogue from characters you normally wouldn't, like Uhura and Scotty and Chekhov and Sulu. Of course, they were all mind washed by Cybok, and so they were being drones and idiots. But you know, it was at least something for the B part players.
You know, one of my call them. It actually has one of my favorite scenes in old Star Trek. I think it's so lovely, and it's near the start. and they're having a campfire.
Oh
and
yeah,
singing,
those are really good. Those
row,
moments
row,
are really
row,
fun.
boat.
Yeah.
And I liked him better before
It holds up to the point where they meet Cybok, and then it just kind of goes down a cliff, I think. But like, yeah, all the campfire
definitely.
stuff and the Kirk sitting there going like, "I never thought I'd die alone." You know, that kind of stuff is fine. I like that bit.
I recommend a YouTube channel called it's Robert J. Coleman.
Okay.
He does a really interesting analysis of Star Trek V and a lot of behind the scenes explanations as to actually why a lot of this was a bit rubbish. Oh, brilliant!
We got a trigger. Cairo says, you know, Star Trek 4 is definitely my favourite movie. We've lost Frank. Star Trek 4 is definitely my favourite movie. Closely followed by Insurrection. Now that's a take. I will agree with you on Star Trek 4. Insurrection is fine. I enjoy that movie. I wouldn't say that's my second favourite, but
it's probably my least favourite. No, sorry, Kai, I'm sure.
No,
you're a lovely person, crazy man. But
I think Nemesis
it's
is
an
worse.
episode of Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's a 2-part episode.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it is a good 2-part episode of Star Trek. It is enjoyable and it's funny.
And Worf jumps off that bridge before that torpedo hits.
Wow, there you are. So yeah, enjoying all fantastic movies like that. Another thing that is out now as well is Star Trek Resurgence, the first Star Trek game since Star Trek Bridge Crew, which you and me played, didn't we, Monkey? A few years back. We should do that again, actually. That was a lot of fun. Resurgence is out now, and you can buy that if you're on PS4, 5, Xboxes, and on the Epic Game Store at the moment. We played it, me and Stars played it, I watched about a couple of weeks back, and we're going to do another episode soon on that. I am surprised. I'm not surprised. I am happy of how good that game is. Like, it is not so much a game like Elite Force or Armada were. Like, it's not just like kind of like shooty for the sake of shooting or like go to the objective. It is what Star Trek is, which is talking, making decisions, going to places, interacting. Yeah, I'm very impressed they took that tack, like, because it's from Telltale developers, and for people that don't know, the Telltale games are things like The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. They're very sort of dialogue heavy, choice inspired, like almost railroaded, like you're being more like an interactive story. But for what Star Trek is, I feel that fits it very well, and I'm very happy about it.
I've recently acquired it myself.
I'd be interested to see your thoughts. I've got it, but I bought it, but I haven't played it yet because I want to play the opposite to what Stars is playing, because I want to do the different choices just to see into it.
You want to go Rogue rather than Paragon?
Yes. Oh yeah, the Mass Effect vibes are there. Absolutely.
Have you played? Sorry, it's complete. Have you played The Walking Dead one? They're sort of masterpiece. They're magnum opus.
I started to play The Walking Dead. I don't think I got about probably like a couple of hours in, but I can't remember much about it. I've got that and the second one, the second season downloaded, but on my Steam account.
Cried like a girl. I blubbed my eyes out playing that game. It was amazing.
Cranky says, "I'll wait until you get into the story. It has everything, not just the story." And then what says, "You've seen everything." Everything. I'm going to leave that next point. So, pre-show showed a little bit of William Shatner singing "Rock It Man." Would you believe he is still at it at the age of 92? He is still on television. He is still gracing our screens, and he has come across a new project, which he is now the mission control for a Fox series called Stars on Mars. Which have you heard about this? Have you seen this? This is basically going to simulate. Basically, it's the celebrity. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here for UK listeners or people thrown into harsh situations. But I think they're just going to be sitting in a cabin by themselves, like because they're going to try and simulate what it's like on Mars. And Shatner is the mission control for this. So I have no words at this point for what William Shatner's career is.
At 90, what is he, 92?
Yeah.
We are, I think he is. It is June 7th right now as you people in the future go back and watch this. So we're exactly halfway through the year. Right now, William Shatner, just for the rest of the year. I don't know what you have planned to do at 92 years old. He's got 9 Comic-Cons that he is appearing at between now and December and charging godly amounts of money just to breathe the same air as him, let alone walk up to him and say, "Oh, Captain Kirk, you're my favorite." And then he goes, and he just sits there like a 92-year-old man on a stool, and you take a picture, and he has the same frozen look on his face. And you're taking a picture, and it's amazing that he's still going. He is not stopping because he knows he's got limited time, so he's giving as many people an opportunity with him as they can get for the right money, you know, because that corpse, he's got to take it with him. And
he's found the secret.
He's found the secret. And I'm wondering, is he going to be trying to shill his not an NFT go to Mars project
next, but
at all these?
Yeah. So yeah, no.
God love him. He's way better than Picard.
He's an incredible person. Like, for better or for worse, I won't say he's a particularly great person, but he is like. What's that kind of phrase? He is a great man. He's not particularly well liked, but he is a great man nonetheless. But no. Shatner has had an incredible career, and the tenacity of his ambition. You know, he's had his ups and downs with Star Trek and things like that, but his commitment to what he does is incredible. He does make some questionable decisions, like his recent foray into NFTs, where you can buy yourself a William Shatner. He has a whole website for like buying William Shatner NFTs, limited edition. So, just pro forma.
He's 92, and he's selling. I mean, he's into NFTs. I had to switch laptops because I couldn't get my camera working, and I'm.
But you had 2 laptops. That's almost the same.
For that exact purpose.
But yeah, there is. Yeah,
the guy went to space.
The guy did go to space.
He did.
So this is the one thing that kind of sold me. That was the one thing that changed my mind. Oh, hello, we have a shy. Because we're talking about Shatner. We're talking about Shatner. That changed my mind.
Speaking of Captain Kirk,
it is the one thing that changed my mind from Shatner.
Second best actor to ever play Captain Kirk, William Shatner.
Interesting. All right, yeah. Oh, he's gone now.
Yeah.
Oh no, come back, Shatner. But no, what changed my mind on Shatner was when he went into space. He did the whole. Well, I say went into space. He went up onto the blue, whatever it's called.
Blue Origin, I think.
Blue Origin, that's right. He went up, came down, and like he was humbled. Like he was truly shocked and humbled, which is really not until Jeff Bezos in the background goes, "Oh, champagne! Oh, let's make this whole thing." And like he was trying to have a moment. And, like, yeah, it's nice to see some humility from Shatner, because obviously a lot of people know him as his ego, you know, and it is nice. But you know, I hope he never dies. I really do. But there we are. I was kind of hoping
one of my favourite moments of William Shatner, and this is going to be something probably only I have seen that's watching this. I don't suppose you watched the satirical news show Have I Got News For You on BBC?
Oh yes.
Other television channels are available. Did you see the episode that William Shatner hosted?
No.
It is spectacular.
Oh my gosh! I'm going to have to go and find this.
It's catastrophic and yet adorable. You love him, and you're like, oh, he's he has no idea what's going on, and it's just like so lovely. Yeah, William Shatner. Have I Got News For You? Host full episode.
There's a good.
It is endearing. Endearing is the.
There's a good episode of Kate McFadden's podcast, Investigates, which is the best name for a podcast for her ever. She interviews William Shatner on one of those. Like, she interviews pretty much every Star Trek cast member out there. It's really good. It's worth a listen to. And she even sits with Will Wheaton, and they play Would You Rather with a coin or No Have You. Yeah, and they basically just play.
She's a cool woman.
She's incredibly cool.
She's into cool music.
Yeah,
she's into hard rock.
Her and Jonathan Frakes sit and listen and talk about jazz for like 20 minutes on a podcast. Like, it's incredible. It's really good.
I met her. She got drunk and twisted her ankle in Nottingham outside one of the hotels. Her and Marina Sirtis crossing the road, hit face, fell over.
Yeah. But yeah, she interviews Shatner. Oh, we're getting feedback from Shy. He's here.
This is the voice of Mr. Honest.
How you doing, buddy? Are you with us? Are you there?
Twitch laptops.
Yeah, no, definitely go check out Shatner's interview with Gates McFadden. It is really good. But here he is on perfect timing to talk about the star of the off-Broadway musical sensation, Khan the Musical. It is the man himself, Shyaporn. How are you, my friend?
Hi, all.
It has been an absolute.
I'm good.
Are you elated? I'm just gonna run straight through it. How's Khan?
Con was the best theatrical experience of my life.
Wow. So for those that don't know, Khan the Musical was running on the off-Broadway New York for the last month. It's been a month's worth of shows, hasn't it? Pretty much solid for yourself. With
5 weeks.
5 weeks of yourself playing Captain Kirk in a very audacious musical directed by Brent Black, who we interviewed on the charity show about, just over a month ago. And if you haven't seen clips and stuff, go look it up. It's absolutely fascinating. Shy, please tell us all. How was it for you? Is this a high point? Like merging your fandom to your profession?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a high point. Just to clarify, it was directed by John Lampy.
Oh,
it was
sorry.
written by
Brent Black. Sorry,
Black.
yes.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking for to audition for anything. I was looking for shows to go see on my birthday, and I just happened to click over to the jobs section of playbill.com, and it said Con the Musical, and I said to my partner, so I have to audition for this, right? And she was like, yes you do. Yeah, and so it was. I'd literally been preparing for this role my whole life, and
I liked what Brent Black was saying. Like when he saw you in the audition, he said he just knew straight away because of the way you took your own stand to lean on in a very Kirk-like manner. That was very
in Wrath of Khan, Kirk leans on something in almost every scene in that movie.
I've never noticed that. Now I'm going to see it. I'm not going to not see it.
Yeah.
But how was the run? How was it? Like the final show? Was there a lot of? Did the final show? Because I know a lot of. I've worked with theatre companies when I was in the theatre styling. I have to say that every time we do it. But I've known a lot of final productions are generally a lot better because people go we're doing it. This is the final one. Let's go. And then it's a lot of sort of celebrations, drinks, and things like that. So how was the final show?
Well, the run was great. We only had a month to rehearse. But the cast was so incredibly professional that we hit the ground running, and it all came together. Literally the night before, it basically came together. It was one of the few full runs we had done of the show. So we debuted on May 4th, Star Wars Day, to an amazing crowd filled with people in hybrid cosplay, Star Wars, Star Trek cosplay.
Really? There were some Star Wars people there, was there?
They were in a hybrid Star Trek, Star Wars, Jedi, Admiral Jedi robes. They had a lightsaber rave in the aisle during intermission. Oh, our intermission music is Faith of the Heart, and almost every night we had a sing-along.
Oh, that's brilliant.
The crowd would just start singing along with the music. That's how we knew the nerds were there. The final weekend of shows, to answer your question, the penultimate show, Saturday night, was probably one of the best shows we had ever done.
Wow.
We were sold out our entire final weekend. So we knew we just had a house full of complete nerds. Our Sunday show, which was our last show, was the show where everything went wrong.
Oh no!
The theater had chosen to redo the sound system that morning, and so sound cut out in a bunch of songs. And so it was our big dance number. All the sound cut out. So we're just sitting there. We just started clapping, and the audience started clapping along with us. I love that stuff. I know other people were a little panicked. I love when that sort of thing happens. Things had only gone that wrong once before in the run. Maybe 3 weeks into the run, a rat had gotten into the theater, and during Spock's funeral scene, the rat ran across the mixers and muted all the channels So all the music stopped, and the music director started freaking out. He's like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? So I'm singing this eulogy. The music is all gone, so I'm just singing it a cappella, which is fine. The music director finally gets the channels turned back on, and then the rat then unplugs the whole computer.
No! Oh my god!
And so and then runs off. So our music director plugs in
that
the
rat
computer.
was George Lucas.
Yes, right. He's playing the piano, like the electronic keyboard that he has. He's playing the songs manually with his right hand, while he's rebooting the computer with his left hand.
Oh my god!
Like as we go into the finale, and on top of that, there's a bunch of voiceovers in the final section of our show, and he has to shout out doing a suddenly improv Captain Picard imitation.
Oh my god!
Because the conceit of the show is that Data is exploring his humanity by creating musical theater, and he's created a musical based on the events of Wrath of Khan. And so Picard has been listening in, and he's talking to him via communicator at this point. But now the music director is sitting there playing piano, rebooting the computer, and shouting out the lines in his best British accent.
God.
So that was a lot of fun too.
That sounds awesome. That sounds really fun.
But yeah, it's really like one of the best casts I've ever worked with. The material is some of the best material I ever worked with. And of course, it's a fandom that I've loved my whole life. So.
Do you see them doing it again? Could you see them just any?
They're trying. The producers are trying to find another theater to move us into. But these things are so hit and miss.
How far will the tour go? I mean, can we get it on Broadway?
Actually, am I allowed to talk about this? I mean, they talk about tours. They talked about doing the convention circuits.
Yeah.
Because I know there are other shows that do the convention circuit. Like they just rent a space and sell tickets in or near the convention. And
if I shoot you Bill Shatner's next 9 Comic-Con appearances, you could get the guys just to follow him around and just, go to his photo ops and then just do the production right next to him while he just sits there.
I don't know. The only official Star Trek person we had there was Bonnie Gordon, who does the voice of
she came, did she? That's awesome.
Yeah.
She came to it, and she's also does voiceover. She does a computer voice.
Oh, does she? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So she's technically in the show, so that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's friends with Brent Black from the old comedy music circuit. Because Brent Black became famous on YouTube for video game parody songs.
Yeah. Which are really good, actually. If you've not, I went on a Brent Black exodus when I heard when we just before we interviewed him for the charities show, and he's done some stunning stuff. It's really good. Definitely a man of talent right there.
If anyone hasn't discovered Shai's YouTube channel, it is a gold mine, an absolute gold mine. I still every now and then watch one of those videos. It's fantastic.
Shai, you're lucky Big's not here. Sorry, Frank, go.
I was going to say, you say Bonnie is the only Trek affiliated person. Sir, you. Sulu.
Well, officially. Let's say officially.
Well, officially in my heart. I mean, come on.
That's right.
When Strange New Worlds Season 3 finally does production in 6 years after all the strikes, eventually they're going to have to debut a young Hikaru Sulu. And, I'm just saying, anybody watching
I can play his father? Is that what you're saying?
You probably could, yes, from San Francisco.
Why not? That's an avenue for you, isn't it? The young Hikaru Sulu father dynamic. But you, as I say, you're lucky Big's not on, because you two have had a hell of a May for our Trek Time hosts. It's like Big with the gem, you with the show.
I know you guys talked about it already, but I was so proud of Jared watching that. He was so good, and the comeback on the first episode was amazing.
Yeah,
he stuck with it.
But episodes 2 and 3, he was just dominating, wasn't he? It was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, and he did really well in the third episode too. Just a few tricky questions here and there. Just the wording was a little awkward. The wording was awkward in a number of his questions that he actually got over his 3-day run. I kept turning to my partner and being like, he knows that answer. He doesn't hit the buzzer. He knows the thing.
Even he
and made
even
fun of him
said
about
he even said like
Pinafore,
I
of
knew the
course.
answer, I just didn't do it. But I think it was, you could see when he got like that first few daily doubles, and like when we showed in the pre-show, when I showed his clip, which you can find on the channel, like of him getting the HMS Pinafore question wrong and him just going no, like that, literally that Simpsons moment. You can pause the clip where his heart breaks, like you can see the exact moment. Oh, absolutely tragic. But yeah, no, I'm really happy for both of you. Like I was because you told us on, we've got a little subreddit as well, like not subreddit, Discord. And you tell people, and you told us like, oh yeah, I'm going to be on the car in the car musical. I got the part, and I was just like, I am so happy. Like this is like the perfect thing that can happen to you, a noted massive Shatner fan and like actor that wants to be in that space. Like it was a brilliant thing. Like
Yeah. I mean, it was just a great run. The fans were so receptive and embraced. Like a lot of people came twice, or even three
that's cool.
times. We closed as the highest rated off-Broadway show in New York, actually,
That's
on
awesome.
showscore.com, which is amazing.
I mean,
It's got to go on tour. I need to see this.
I really want to.
have see
I
this.
do.
I will.
Because I think
I'm
Ranarian
coming to
from
New York
our-
in
Sorry.
October.
There was some talk about. There's some talk about October, actually. There's a lot of
Wait,
different
where?
talk. There's a lot. We don't know. We know nothing. We know nothing. There's always theaters are always emptying out. Shows leave, shows open. So there's always like rotating space. So it's just a matter of, can you find the investors to pay for this more expensive space? Because this was done with a partnership through the Players Theater and Off-Broadway Theater in Greenwich Village, which sort of has like an incubator program. They're not just giving you the space, but they do a profit share on the production. So it enables you to.
But I mean, if it's sold out and obviously, as you say, got incredible reviews. I mean, that's an incubator success story, right? Surely.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of people who see things at the Players Theater regularly said that this was the favorite thing they had seen. That makes you feel extremely proud.
That's the thing. Like you can get all the prep up to like that first show, and you can get everything going. When you get the first show, and like I was nervous for you because even though I had no inkling or no idea what the show was going to be, I was just like, I need to go and find some reviews to kind of see like what are people saying, and everyone was going like, it's great, it's really good, it's exactly this. I was like, yay, I'm happy because I knew you would be happy reading that.
Oh yeah, we had some real review hounds in the cast too, who would like they'd see every new review and post every new review. I got into it a little bit too after the first week or two, but
it's got to be hard not to. Like, because I remember that.
Well, when they're all positive, surely.
Yeah, it was good. Like, I was reading all like a lot of the obviously a lot of the Trek sites were reporting on it, and there was what was the there was the Trek site that went behind the scenes with you with another podcast. I forget their name.
I almost forgot the name, but yeah, they did a very well edited, actually hour-long documentary, like behind the scenes documentary on us, which was
like Trek Exposed or something. So I've got them subscribed. Hang on my YouTube. Let me find them very quickly because there's a good, really lengthy behind the scenes. Why is my YouTube not working? Come on.
So, did you specifically go for Kirk? Because I mean, I
Trek
remember.
Untold. Sorry, Monkey. Trek Untold do a good half-hour documentary on it. It's worth watching. Yeah, sorry, go on.
On the charity stream, the Kirk was always incredible, but the Khan was equally brilliant.
Well,
so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I sound like a sycophantic fan, don't I?
No. I appreciate that. Like, I have a fragile, hungry ego like most actors. So I appreciate.
We shall pander to it. Don't worry. I'll cut you off soon. You've got another 10 minutes, and then it's just hard no exposure.
Thank you. No, like I said, I wasn't looking I found the audition very late in their audition process. They had cast pretty much everyone else except Kirk and Spock and Uhura. Like Khan was cast, Sulu was cast, Savick was cast. They had their Sulu/Chekhov and their Savick from a previous production, previous workshops of this. They had done many workshops. This was the first full production of the show. So Kirk was all that was really left that I saw, and that I could
grab.
do.
Did you send that charity show snippet?
I did, but I actually just asked him, like, how much of my like cover letter did you read? And apparently they didn't they didn't look at it, much of the links. Well, what he said he went to my YouTube page, like scanned it briefly. He was like, okay, this guy gets it, and that was pretty much it. Like, and then I submitted me singing as well, so they were like, oh, he can sing and he's a nerd, so we'll bring him in for the callback. He clearly has enough Trek acumen to. Mm-hmm. But they didn't like watch the table read or any of my numerous con.
Because maybe you said to me, "Is like, can I use some of the table reads from my show reel?" I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." I thought that's what it's for, but no, shame. No, I'm seriously happy for you. I am looking forward to seeing. I like. If someone could have paid for me to fly out, sit at the back of the theater with a camera, so we could have just recorded it, so people could see it, because I think that's something that people outside of New York, the Trek fans, should have seen. That would have been great.
Yeah, that's typically frowned upon in most theaters.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's archival footage of it, but that's just so that Brent has it. To refer to, because he wants to mount further productions of it and keep tweaking it.
I'd imagine there's all sorts of licensing issues with like releasing something of that on a video format, which is the reason why it hasn't been done.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a parody, and he's worked very closely with a fair use attorney to make sure that we're within the bounds of parody.
Yeah, because the Star Trek licensing fees, I mean, we've heard from Ben from WRG, they are not cheap, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just a fan parody satire, First Amendment.
I know my rights. Spock can bear arms. Is that right? No, I don't know. I don't know.
But it only encourages fans to consume more Trek. Well, this is done with love.
Absolutely. Like, someone's gone out there, made a Khan the musical. It has been well received, and like, I imagine people over at Axanar are just going like, well, they did it, why can't we do it? for different reasons. But, I would love this to be the sort of spur for Paramount to look at like fan productions of things and kind of going like, well, maybe we should revisit these terms and maybe look at like expanding things, as long as it's like as long as it works with them, and would love to see them drop their license costs and get some sort of more creativity going, because at the moment...
Yeah, I mean, I think Paramount should actually encourage there's already so many fan films, but if they just had a fan film festival every year and
wouldn't that be good?
Gave awards, or even like and then like anyone that wins, they should invite into like a creator director internship program, like some sort of incubator for people that are actually interested in joining the Trek family.
They used to have the thing
like
where
some of the most.
Sorry, go on.
I think we're about to say the same thing. You used to be able to just submit scripts cold. Yesterday's Enterprise famously is just a fan submitted script, and that's one of the greatest
Ronald
episodes.
B. Moore was, a famous director of like shows of Outlander and the remake of Battlestar Galactica. Got his start in the same way of just turning up with a script and going, "Can I write?" And they went, "Oh, this looks good. Okay, let's go for it." And he is instrumental in being one of the spearheads of Deep Space Nine. So. It feels like we were just talking. I'd like to get your opinion on this as well, Shai, about the writers' strike that is currently happening all across Hollywood, especially.
I heard a little bit of that conversation while I was late because I was doing some editing for a different audition, but of course fully support the writers' rights. The streaming and online video is such a new frontier that everything. The old contracts are completely outdated, and writers are getting fewer episodes per season, and they're being made to work more hours, and they're getting paid less and less per minute for their work. So, you shouldn't. I mean, there's so many stories of writers who are on like Emmy Award winning shows that are picking up retail jobs or fast food jobs because they can't make ends meet despite having just won an Emmy or something. And the idea that you can, some people have said that you can just keep making the scripts that are already made. You can't actually do that, because when you're actually shooting something, things change on set, and you have to have a writer there approving the changes to the script. Like, you might be shooting something and suddenly realize there's a continuity issue. You can't change the script without the approval of the writer. So that really just grinds your production to a halt.
There's stories of like you listen to, I forget which podcast it was. I think it was the Shuttlepod podcast, Shuttlepod 1 with Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating, and they were talking about being on set of Enterprise, and they said like you follow the script. If anything needs to be changed to the script, it has to go upstairs to the big people upstairs, and it has to go all the way up, and you have to wait for hours for it to come down for them to say, no, you can't change it. So, yeah, I mean, that was back in the early 2000s. Things are different now. I think you get a lot more writers on set for things like that, or even if they don't, there's still, like it was then, there's still writer involvement. So,
right, exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it's good to support. What do you think as well? Because you weren't here for it. Strange New Worlds. I'm going to get your opinion on this. Coming out season 2. What are your thoughts? We're going to have a big breakdown next week.
If you're going to spoiler, I'm just going to disconnect.
Monkey hasn't seen them all.
I mean, wait. Oh, you haven't seen season 1?
He's seen bits of it.
He
He's
hasn't
seen
seen
what was it? The Gorn. Oh, he's gone. The Gorn submarine episode.
The aliens episode? The Gorn aliens
No, the one
episode?
before that, the
the hunting through the nebula?
Yeah,
the
that one,
Batara Nebula.
He's gone. It's you and me now.
That's fine. It's just you and me now.
Yeah,
Look at this. I've bored Frank and Monkey.
Frank's just gone. I don't know where Frank's gone.
Frank just left.
Oh my god, we're just talking about this guy again. Strange World season 2. So like what are you most excited for? What do you
There's
think?
so much. I'm really excited to see Carol Kane, as an engineer. She's just been a steady comedy rock for decades now. I can't wait to see what.
They've already got an engineer. Whoa! I'm disconnecting again.
Did he link back up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. One last.
Everything. I'm worried about. Like the Kirk is going to be questionable. Like, is he? I never thought they were going to include this much Kirk in Strange New Worlds.
It's risky territory, isn't it? Because like on the last,
Kirk's in it.
Kirk's in it. Yes.
Wait, no, there wasn't. I've seen it. No, I've seen. It's not.
I thought you weren't listening.
I'm dipping in and out. But there was a Kirk on the musical asteroid of fate. That wasn't James Kirk.
Oh no, you're
Sam
thinking
Kirk.
of George Kirk.
George. No,
George
is it
Kirk's
Sam
his dad in the film.
George is his dad. Sam is the
Sam.
brother.
Sorry. Yes. No. Sorry.
What are you?
Fake fan. Sorry.
Fan fan?
If Stars or Auto here would be fake fan moment. Yeah. But no, Sam Kirk. But no, yeah, no. I mean, we knew before season 1 entered that Kirk was going to be in the show. But yeah, his appearance in season 1 was a little bit divided because people weren't quite sure how his character fitted in with the James C. Kirk. But the one thing that has given me real pause for thought is the intro to the latest season 2 trailer is, someone narrating a big speech about, risk is our business, essentially. You don't do this because it is safe, you do it because it is dangerous. A little bit of Kennedy speech in there, which we were also talking about. And it is revealed that is Kirk giving that speech to... Is it either Uhura or Lan? And that kind of made me kind of go like, oh, maybe we're going to start seeing that bit of Kirk. And George Wesley's portrayal might be a little bit more in line of the character we know of Kirk rather than Shatner's portrayal of Kirk.
Right. Yeah. No, it's all very interesting. I wonder how far Paramount's going to take this. Like, are they going to do seasons 4 and 5 of TOS?
That would be interesting. I mean, from what I've heard from from what Anson Mountain people have said on Twitter, like they're saying, no, this is Strange New Worlds. This is a TOS prequel. We are doing it from the value of that. We are not unifying casts or doing, not going to suddenly bring on Sulu, not going to suddenly bring on Scotty, although I can't do
they've said that before.
Yeah, I know.
Anytime they claim they're not going to do something, they ended up doing it. They said they weren't going to do Spock, and then they did bring up Spock.
To be fair, I am kind of jaded ever since Star Trek Into Darkness when they went, no, it's not Khan, and then it was Khan. So I don't trust anything anyone says. But I think as long as they keep Anson Mountain, it will be very much Strangely Worlds. I think at the point where Anson Mount says, this is my last series, and they go, but we're going to do another one, is when the warning sign should flare, and they say, like, okay, this is going to be TOS.
No, I mean, I have full faith in the Strangely Worlds. Their first season, they really knocked it out of the park. Let them play. If it, I don't care. I honestly don't care who they bring in. I'm not that precious with canon. As long as the storytelling is good, great. Tell us good Trek stories. This is such a good world. Like, Star Trek is such a great world build. You can tell so many stories in it.
It really is.
Which is, this is why I love Discovery. It just went off and did something like different and cinematic and groundbreaking. They're like,
man, I still want to have my, like, because I feel like I'm still one of the few people, I think it's you and me, like, and I've watched season 4 of Discovery, like Stars hasn't even watched it yet, and I'm like, I need to talk to people because season 4 of Discovery was a really good season. It was absolutely stunning. But to wrap things up for today, I don't know where Frank's gone, but
I think we're all wondering how big a shit is Frank.
Literally the largest thing. Large as our final topic for tonight, which is going to be one I'm going to continue when I can grab Stars and Auto as well. But since we've got a different round of our hosts and guests, I would like to get people's thoughts. And we're going to open the floodgates now and say, hey, spoiler season is over. Let's talk about Picard season 3. We're finally going to.
I thought you were doing that today.
Well, yes, we are going to do that today, but Stars unfortunately couldn't make it. So we'll do that today. We'll talk about Picard season 3, and I will probably do it again because I like to get other people's thoughts on it. But Picard season 3, Picard a season as a whole as well, because this is, you can have one conversation without the other, really, because this has been a very fractured show. The show is finished. Picard is not having a 4th season. Like, this is it. In a bubble, you've got 1, 2, and 3 seasons of a complete show out there. The first completed Star Trek show since Star Trek Enterprise finished in 2005. It's hard to think where we start with this, because season 3 wasn't divisive. Like, 90% of Trek fans came out and said this was absolutely everything I wanted from a Star Trek show. This is the best thing since sliced bread. Holy shit, they should have done this from the start.
That was a great Star Trek series.
I loved season 3.
Star Trek sliced bread was one of them.
That's true. It really was. It was super underrated.
Was it Granary? Was it whole grain?
Although I actually have heard people who don't like all the fan service of season 3. Like, I was recently having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a huge Star Trek fan, and she did not like all the fan service.
Well, when I was trying to collate my thoughts on it earlier, because I did prepare. Fan service was the first thing that I wrote, and it's not a bad, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. But it was something that was, I think, somewhat missing in season 1 and 2. I mean, season 1 and 2, I'm sure we'll get into, but there definitely was a lot of fan service. But that's not to its disservice. I don't think. I think it was a lot, but I don't think it did it. I don't think it did it a service, and I think it did help. And
I think it's 2 different kinds of fan service, because there's the fan service that Lower Decks does, which is like, do you remember this thing? Look, it's here, in a kind of almost a Family Guy-ish way, but like in a kind of not as abrasive as way. It's like, oh, we got this, like, I just got this Toxus hat. Let's just throw it in the corner there. That's fine, whatever. And everyone goes, I remember that from whatever. But it
made sense though in season 3. The fan service was done, but it was done in a way that made canonical sense.
Yeah.
In season 2, there's a bar called 10 Full.
Here's Frank. Hi, Frank.
I hope you washed your hands, Frank.
Trying to re-enter like a snake.
Okay.
Are you Odo now? What's happening?
Oh, he's gone again. No, we've lost him. No, okay.
Oh, he's mutated Paris.
The mutated top half of the forehead of Paris, anyway.
Gotta get him for mutated Janeway. No,
yes,
do you go for mutated? Yeah, you need mutated parrots.
Yeah, you need mutated Paris and you need Captain Jane.
Captain Jane, yeah, that's the one. Timelines Talks will be returning soon. Okay, sorry, carry on, Monkey.
No, I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, fan stuff. No, it's great. It's good. In season 2, it just didn't. It just was.
No, there is.
Like,
I would like to.
Oh,
point
here's
out,
what we. Okay.
Yeah, I would like to point
Well,
out
the
start.
problem is,
Yo, no, please go on.
I would say season 2 should have stuck to the fan service, right? The first 2 episodes of season 2 were really promising. You're in the alternate timeline. You know, they're making all these references to all these other cultures that, you know, evil Picard has conquered. Like that world build, that brief world build was fascinating, and then they chucked it all out the window to be in modern day.
Talk about General Cisco
LA
and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So the interesting piece of continuity between season 2 and season 3 was like they brought on Terry Matalas and Dave Blass for season 2, but they weren't in charge of the story at that point. I believe they were literally producing the series. It wasn't until season 3 when Terry Matalas turned around and went like, no, we want to make the final season of TNG. And that's where the kind of fan service comes in. And the one thing that made me think like, oh yeah, they're going to do the fan service right was when we had the Ro episode where Ro came back and sadly they killed her off because God forbid that you can have a one-time TNG episode come on and they don't kill them off. Like, Jesus, I told you spoilers were all off the table now. And not kill them off. But they had that conversation with Ro and Picard in the little 10-forward hologram on the Titan. And that was beautiful. Like, that was a proper cohesive realization of the history of the two characters that brought it together with the situation they're in and addressed, you know, their, you know, what happened since Preemptive Strike, since the penultimate episode of TNG when Ro went off to join the Marquis. That was kind of a moment I thought, yeah, okay, they're going to do fan service. The fan service they introduced, they're going to do it right, which is nice to think that they're not just going to leave things and sort them out. And if you follow along Terry Matalas and Dave Blass's Twitter at the time, you get a little bit of inside dives on, you know, how they address these kind of things as well. But shame they killed her. That's...
Yeah. But it did give
where's the body?
Where's
the body?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
If you want Ro to return, download Star Trek Timelines today, and you have just 4 days left to take part in the Spycraft campaign where you can get inside a Ro, the 5-star legendary crew, today. This one's free, Ben. Star Trek Timelines, store.StarTrekTimelines.com.
Can you get to level 20 in 4 days?
Shit, no. But you can buy it for 6,500 dilithium.
That's true.
Buy my account.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm gonna wander off and go to the toilet in a minute. While I'm away, talk to me about...
well, you can't do that if you're away.
No, you can't do it. So you can talk to a theory, talk to chat about why, what your negative thoughts for this season were. What was the thing you thought?
Because you don't want to hear it. Because you love it so much.
I have my.
You're saying negative. I'm going to the toilet.
I'm gonna go. Yeah. No. I'm gonna go back and come back. I want to hear what they say. But like, because everybody is gushing about the series. Like, absolutely everybody is, and I have my own reservations of why this isn't the best series ever. It's really good. I really enjoyed everything about it, but definitely one...
Best series ever of Star Trek or the best series ever of Picard?
Definitely of Picard. Not going to dispute that.
That's because slam dunk. So,
I will tell you the biggest problem I have with it, it ruins it. It makes me realize it's not a true story. I was believing it up to this moment. All right. And that's
just bad mouth idol.
I know, God, I can't stand that guy. Oh, the Brits. So you get your hero shot where you fly into this special space dock that Geordi just operates by himself, apparently, with no one else, no oversight to be like.
While building the Enterprise D,
did you just rebuild the Enterprise? Like, no one taught anything, and powers on this ship, and pilots it out. All the lights are on. Like, why are the lights on in crewman Tarsus's quarters? That is a horrific waste of energy and power that they need, that they can't afford to use, just to have random lights on in the hallways. Like, Geordi was going through each room and cleaning them one by one, and he forgot to clean that. It just took me out of it. And I said, you know what? No.
What did they need?
What do you mean? It's a museum. It's a museum. When you go to the Air and Space Museum, Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in DC. They have the original Starship Enterprise, and when every hour all the lights turn on. So it's in display mode. That's why the lights are on in those.
Oh, it's like the self-guided tour.
Yeah,
But
You get the headphones and the thing, and you're walking around.
No one is at this top
It's a
secret
good
facility except for Geordi and his daughter. So are they just giving
It's a
themselves
museum. It
tours?
is a museum.
It was a museum.
It's just in display mode.
Yeah, I think that's a damn good explanation. How
Kiosk
a
mode.
ship that required a crew of 1,000 to operate was,
Yeah.
but we don't care about
It's
that.
20 years later. It's 25 years later, right?
Yeah, they've got automation and AI. We didn't get far into
Yeah.
into
The only thing I really didn't like about season 3 was they kind of recycled the concerned parent storyline from the first season with Geordi and his daughters. Like the way Troy was very protective of Kester Troy Riker and didn't
Of
want
who?
anything to happen.
She was there.
Okay.
Never heard of her. She wasn't there. She must not have been important.
That's right.
Did
That
they
and the
say
moon
where
landing,
she
completely
was?
false.
She was at Starfleet Academy, apparently. That was revealed.
Okay. All right.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense that Geordi would suddenly be hesitant and protective of his daughters when they're already in Starfleet. Like they're already in danger
Well,
constantly.
I mean, one of his daughters was literally by his side. Like, I'd imagine, like, you should work on the Starbase with me, be here. And then, obviously, Crash LaForge, sorry, what was her name?
Sydney.
Sydney. I want to think of Lalandra. Lalandra was in All Good Things. And I was thinking, oh no, Sydney LaForge was the rebel who wanted to go off and be a pilot, not an engineer. You know, she's sort of you kind of see that little bit of storytelling there. But he did keep one safe. He kept God, I can't remember. It was Alandra. Alandra was the one that stayed with him.
Right.
So I do actually have quite a bit of negative things to say.
Do you? I'm interested. Let's get these negative feelings out first. Let's express them. What were your negative feelings? Go on.
I will preface it with I did love it. I did love it. But I felt it perhaps would have been a bit more of a cohesive story if it ended a little bit earlier. There was a when Fennec, who was a horrific villain, she was menacing. It was a sort of psychological as well. When she met her end, spoiler alert, I kind of felt like that was a good place to sort of end that story. There was who is the supervillain? But I think revealing the big bad is someone else all along right at the end is pretty cheap, and especially when Fennec was such a good villain and she was so well played by Amanda Plummer.
Do you know what?
They definitely underused Krieg, like bringing her in at the end for just kind of voiceover essentially over someone else's body acting, and not really letting Alice Krieg, who is a fantastic actor, kind of develop that cripple, that aged, hurt Borg queen at the end.
It didn't feel the same, did it? Hearing her voice on someone else's face, even if even all credit to the actress who did play the Borg queen in the finale, but it was you could hear Krieg there.
But did you also not think that it was a bit of a cop out having the ball turn out? I
think it only felt like a cop out because they didn't develop her enough.
Yeah,
the queen's reappearance there enough.
Yeah, it was just it turns out it was this guy.
Which is one of my bitch points really, like you said, Monkey, like having Vadic the whole way through being this excellent brought up villain, having her give her explanation like I was tortured by Section 31 scientists and I want my vengeance against the Federation. As soon as she's airlocked, gone. What I would have liked to see in my head was maybe her disposed of in some way but not killed, and then having a confrontation between her and the Borg Queen at the end, and the kind of like, you just used me to get to Picard, and then having like almost kind of Thor Ragnarok, Surtur versus Hela kind of situation, the two antagonists of the hero character of battling each other off, would have been a much more interesting thought as opposed to just kind of like, oh, Vadic's gone, she was just a pawn, we just developed her, and then now she's spaced in kind of a little bit of a hokey episode where they were just like, oh yeah, we could have opened the bridge doors all along. Like, it didn't feel earned to kill her. And then
she'd have a great final line, couldn't she?
Oh yeah, fuck solids. Yeah, no, that was good. I did enjoy that, but
You're right. This whole season was dedicated to fan service, and they skipped one of the biggest fan service questions of all time. Like, who wins? Found changelings versus Gorn. Like, who wins that fight? And then we don't actually get to see it.
Wouldn't
Like, they set it up and they didn't deliver.
I think like go on.
But also like that part of that story was them protecting Jack from Valek, and then they defeat Valek, and then Jack goes, actually, even though all these people have died protecting me, I'm just gonna go anyway because the script is.
It definitely felt like we need A to B, but we haven't quite worked out. This is where this character's going to end up, but we're just going to put him on a shuttle.
The last 2 episodes were extra that they just bolted on. I do wonder. There was part of me that thinks, was it originally meant to be the par race? Because I think there's a lot of sort of clues.
A lot of people sort of saying, about that. Yeah.
Is it the par race? Because it was the changelings. That was, we're going to get back at the prophets and whatever. And I wonder. Part of me wonders like. Was that the original plan? But then there was.
I think
you don't know.
Yeah, you cannot have a Prophet Parwraith story without Cisco being involved. You absolutely cannot. It would be very disrespectful if they didn't.
I just kind of wonder if that was the plan, and then you actually make it the Borg.
Yeah, exactly. My other pet peeve was, and I know this is a popular return, but Data a little bit. Like for all the faults that season 1 had. The one moment I absolutely adored about it was that final conversation between Picard and Data, sitting in the sort of like limbo, artificial intelligence afterlife, and having that wonderful conversation about death, and then finally, killing off Data, and then for Data to come back, well, it's kind of pseudo-Data lore, whatever, to come back, and you go like, well, Data, I thought you wanted to die, and he goes, well, now I don't. This one doesn't. And it was a bit like,
no.
I don't know.
You're undercutting that scene. That scene was done very sensitively. Like, Picard actually asks that the new Data lore.
I don't know. I think it's more my thing about, like, From the expectations in the teaser was just like, okay, we're bringing Brent Spiner back, and Brent Spiner's back. I thought like, oh, he's going to be lore, but they're going to integrate parts of Data into lore, and he'll be a whole new being. But no, they kind of wanted to run straight into it, and they ran headlong to go, no, Data's back. He is back, like, and he doesn't care, and he's having this thing with Geordi, and it was a bit like, I don't know. I felt even though they kind of gave that sort of, there was a lot of like what is called lampshading, which is just like, no, it's not a problem. Put your hat on. It's going to be fine. Let's just move on and enjoy ourselves. Like, I didn't like that part of the Data story, which was a bit like, sorry, it's hard for me to explain into words how I felt about that.
You felt that he had a finality and his story had ended, and then because we're bringing him out from the dead. No, I get that. I'm kind of glad that they did, because I think he's a wonderful character.
You wanted to have the whole TNG cast reunion. I get that. That's
and I always felt Data. That there was an intention at the end of Nemesis that he probably would come back, backing himself up. And I think they gave themselves a fair few outs there. And I'm glad. It wouldn't have been Star Trek without Data.
No, and I agree with that.
You think Spock should have stayed dead after Wrath of Khan? That's yours.
No. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying right now.
You are not wrong, but I think in the way, I don't know. It feels like it was a battle between like fan service and forcing the story a little bit. I don't know. It just didn't. It is a tricky one. Like they did, like the scene with Data and Lore in the little sort of like confrontational headspace thing was quite fun. I enjoyed that, with him going like, oh, here's my cat, here's all my treasured possessions, I am you now. Like, was fun, but I think I wanted I think this comes down to what I wanted rather than what happened. Like, I would have liked for him to be a more conflicted, like when he first gets activated, he goes, I'm Lore, I'm Soong, I'm Lal, and he kind of gets bits of Lal. I would have liked them to sort of maybe made it a bit deeper and say like, oh yeah, here's that bit of Lal that's inside him, here's that bit of Lore that's inside him, make this true hybrid character of all the Soongs going back to Adam, to Arik, to Alton, and all these Soongs together, like being this amalgamation. But then I suppose you need like a whole season to tell that story, maybe, and maybe it was a bit rushed. That's just me. That's what I wanted.
Maybe you might still get that. Maybe just because the last series of Picard. Maybe the next series is Star Trek Data.
Well,
Well, legacy maybe.
There is a very popular fan petition out there that has reached 60,000, or nearly 60,000 signatures to approve a Star Trek Legacy. The Strange New Worlds one, I think, only passed 40,000 or so. So it's definitely got more traction.
So what did you
they
think
set it up.
about?
They absolutely set it up.
Oh, cool. Of course, yeah. No, there's everyone. Like Terry Matalas, like, I want a job, and not just for that, but because he loves Star Trek. I get that Terry Matalas absolutely loves Star Trek. Like, you know, but yeah, we want to see Captain 7 of 9 of the Enterprise G jet setting off into the unknown. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Like, how cool is that?
Jerry Ryan's just a star, right? Jerry Ryan's.
Oh my god, yes.
The second she appeared on Voyager to like Boston Legal to coming back to this, she pops up the screen, and you're like, this is someone I want to watch on screen.
This season was Seven's greatest season. Like, seeing her, like, this is the one triumph of Picard of a whole 3 seasons isn't really Picard. It's kind of Seven, because you're kind of seeing her going from like what happened to post Voyager, which is her being persecuted and going like, I'm just going to join the Fenris Rangers, I'm going to be a bit of a rebel, to her exploring like her various relationships with Vajazel and with, you know, and then going into sort of Raffi, exploring that, working out where she belongs, and then even her relationship with Captain Shaw and working out why the fuck am I in Starfleet, to then sort of resolving that and going, bitch, I'm the captain of the Enterprise. Like, come on, like, how good. I was so hyped. Like, I was at the end of like Picard, like, we're gonna go to the good things now, because there's a lot of good things, like the end of Picard season 3, and I had to sit back and say to myself, like, okay, they renamed the Titan to the Enterprise G. That's a little bit weird, but now we can say Captain 7 of 9 of the USS Enterprise G. And doesn't that sound good? Like, isn't that really cool?
If you had to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to name 20 Star Trek characters that 20 some odd years after Nemesis are still around, and one of them gets to be the captain of the Enterprise G, not the F. We don't tell you anything about the F other than, well, there it was. But the Enterprise G, who's it going to be? I think you would look at that list, and 7 would be one of the names that would pop, and you would go, yeah, that makes sense.
It's I think only after you'd seen Picard in season 1 and 2. I think if you'd got to if you'd have just watched Voyager and then gone, oh yeah, 7's going to be the captain, I think that would be a harder sell. But then
they had to earn it.
Yeah, I think she had earned it by that point after, you know, all her things with the Fenris Rangers, and then sort of I think her interactions with Picard actually made her a stronger person, which was great.
Yeah, that first season has that brief scene between her and Picard.
Oh, it should have been more. That should have been like about half an hour. Like them talking about Borg.
Right, yeah, does it ever stop? Do you ever get better? And you're like, no.
Yeah, that's good.
It's just going to be with you forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, Star Trek Legacy would be amazing. You get to see her adventures as a captain, as maybe like interacting with Fenris Rangers. Maybe they'll finish the saucer section and make it like a full circle. It'd be great.
Oh, I see why I didn't invite you to the interview with Bill Krause.
No, I'm joking. I actually love that design. The design.
Neo Constitution.
Well, yeah, Constitution 3 class, which now retroactively calls the refit the Constitution included. But let's talk about things we really.
Titan, then it was the Titan A, and now it's the Enterprise F. It's going to have a personality complex.
The Enterprise F was weird looking.
Oh, do you not like the Odyssey?
The F?
I have the F.
Disn't.
I have the F.
Yeah, let me see
huge. Put it up the screen.
Look at that.
It's the neck. What? Doesn't it have like a hollow neck?
It does. It does. Yeah, we've got
compare that.
Yeah, it's the hollow neck that was really weird. It just.
Yeah. Oh, the E is gorgeous. The E is absolutely. E is my favorite. We had our Starship rating sections on the Butter Zone a few whiles ago, but no, I really like the F. Like, it was designed by Adam Eiley for Star Trek Online about, God knows, probably about 10 years ago now. So
a competition, right?
It was a competition, yeah. Same way the Lunar Class by Sean Tronjo was also a competition, but like those guys get Starship design. I kind of like it as the evolution of the Sovereign Class, but I'm glad I saw it on screen. But it would have been nice for them to, because a lot of people confuse. It'd been nice if they kind of just went, oh yeah, it's being decommissioned, because they didn't really outright say that. It just, other than like a quick sort of like,
it looked like it was being christened.
Yeah, it did.
I thought it was being christened in that scene. Like, here's a new F.
No, there was like and this is the problem with like.
I thought that was convinced that it was the inaugural
Captain Shelby,
flight.
R.I.P.
Flight? Yeah.
But no, they said it was like a piece of promotional material before saying, commissioned in 2387 or something, like decommissioned recently because of something. And they're like, no, that's the thing you have in the show, not in a tweet. And I think that's another one of my problems I have, is a lot of stuff was like around the corners, around the edges, that the average viewer had just been like, what? Why? What's going on?
Just one last final thing that really bugged me was the first trailer. There was a lot of bait switch.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of like, we're going to show you Moriarty.
Yeah.
We're going to show you.
Was so good.
Lord.
Yeah, but they got me. They got me with that one.
Yeah, and they got me too. And they showed you the Enterprise F. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. But it was like, when we were in London Idol and we went in that phone box, and there was all those, cards, and we called the number. And then the person that turned up looked nothing like the person on the card. That's what that trailer was.
How did you get me?
I don't know what you're talking about. However, that does happen a lot in Las Vegas, where I may or may not have direct knowledge of that either. But that I wouldn't at all.
That happens in Bangkok too a lot. That happens a lot in Bangkok, Thailand. I was so sure through the first 3 or 4 episodes of season 3 that the changeling menace was actually holograms. Like they were all, because the ship was changing. Like I thought it was like, they have the holo ship. They're going to bring back the Romulan holo ship.
That's where Moriarty comes in. Yeah.
Signatures. Yeah. But no, they got me.
But
I was
Moriarty was
convinced
cool,
that they were going to send a distress call. They just got out. Did that distress call get out? I think was one of the lines. It was, and then the Enterprise F was going to come and save them, and there was going to be someone in charge. And then it was like, here's this one shot that you got in the trailer, and then it's going to get destroyed.
I think they wanted to put a lot of the emphasis on the Titan as being the hero ship, and rightfully so. Like, this is one of the best. Let's go for the good things now, because this was one of the best seasons for pure ship porn. Like they made the USS Titan an absolute star throughout the whole thing. Like, I started looking at the design of that ship, kind of going like, it looks all right. I think it's a little bit chunky in various places, but it's all right. And by the end of the season, I'm like, this is amazing. I love, like, when you see something move, like especially a ship like that, absolutely stunning. Like, and I think you're right. I think they definitely did, like, I mean, Dave Blass has been on Twitter to say, like, here's all the different starship designs we used. We brought back things. Oh, hang on, Shai's got photography. What have you got?
No. I thought I ordered something from Target. Like it was the Playmates new 1701 Enterprise. They had. I thought it had arrived, but it's just a frame.
Okay. I thought we could come like, no, but I have the Enterprise G here. No. But yeah, no, they definitely paid like homage to a lot of good starship moments, but I can see why they wanted to say like, okay, we'll have these starships around the outside because we dropped the ball on Picard season 1 by having the Zheng He copy and paste fleet. So like, yeah, here's all these Star Trek Online designs. So that was a high point. Was definitely they made that ship look beautiful. I think the one scene that I really like is when the Shrike is tractor beaming the Helios, the Dr. Crusher's ship. And you get that moment where it just comes in and just disrupts the transporter beam with that absolutely heroic moment. And I just went, okay, I love this ship. This is everything for me. Like, this is a brilliant moment.
That was one of my other nitpicks, was that when they had the full fleet assembled, where were the 200 Zheng He class?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, then you get to mission that quick,
like from season 1. Did they just all get destroyed in the past 5 years?
That was another problem. They said, yes, we've got the entire fleet here at Earth. I'm like, are you stupid? Like, really?
How many Excelsior classes refits were there in that? Because they've always used that model.
I think I know they've gone to the Excelsior 2 class, haven't they? That's the new one. Yeah.
Right.
But okay, guys, good points about the series. I'm gonna go around the table because I know what everyone's gonna go for. I'm gonna start with the guest. Monkey, what was your favourite part of Picard season 3?
Can I have multiple favourite parts?
Absolutely, but you have to do one at a time, and then we'll move on.
Todd Stashwick was superb. He was the character that had depth. He wasn't the this is a dick character. It was a dick with depth, just like me. And and there was the there was the perceived evolution of the character, but the reality was he was always like that, and which was revealed at the end when he'd done his evaluation of 7 of 9, and actually turned out he was pretty good the whole time. And then when he's geeking out when Geordie LaForge was there, I loved every moment that he was on screen. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And another thing, the musical score, which often gets overlooked, I thought was absolutely on point. And particularly, I think the episode must have been episode 1. Was it the First Contact theme that played at the end credits? And it really made you go, okay, I'm back in Star Trek.
Which wasn't that the biggest clue that it was going to be Borg all along, really? It's just like they're playing First Contact.
I just felt like I was pulled back in at that point, and the score was superb all the way through. It really hit the nail on the head for me.
So if you want to listen to the soundtrack to Picard Season 3 by Stephen Barton, is now on Spotify, and there is, again, I mentioned them before, Open Pike Night, they did a interview with them as well as Strange New Pod, another fellow Star Trek podcast. They've done some interviews with the composers of the Star Trek Season 3, Picard Season 3, worth a listen. Sorry, Karen.
I'll go one more, because I feel like I might be stealing everyone else's thunder.
No, you're the guest, it's fine.
But, yeah, fuck you guys. There was genuine suspense, and I thought Vadic as well was so good, and Amanda Plummer was so good, and yeah, there was genuine suspense, and I genuinely didn't know in that final episode if they were all going to make it, and that's good. Like, normally you watch a show, you go, of course they're going to make it. They're the main cast, and yeah, well done.
I like that you had that final shot of everyone playing poker. Like, everyone was just sort of everyone remained through the end. It felt like I have a big complaint about shows that just kill off the characters because it's the final episode. Like, oh well, we've got nothing more to do. Let's kill some people off. Not looking at you, Enterprise. But loads of.
Well, I haven't seen the end of that yet. I'm on season 3. Don't be spoiling stuff for me again, man.
Okay, but in shows in general, it's like I hate the trope of like it's the final episode, let's kill people off. Like, I hate that, and I'm glad season 3 didn't do that. As other than R.I.P. Ro, Shelby, Hugh, Icheb,
and Captain. The guy I just said was brilliant.
Oh, sure, yes, sure as well, yes, that was. Yeah, it didn't need to happen, but
he didn't need to.
Okay, Shy, your favourite moments, or one of
Monkey did take a bunch of mine, right?
I'm sorry. Do you want some more? I've got a bunch of others.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll just repeat them. Shaw's like character development from Dick to like depth was amazing.
Dick to depth. Your 24-step stage.
I love it. That's our new catchphrase. Dick. What's his dick to depth ratio? that's
what she asked. But yeah, and the music again was great. Yeah, the First Contact. I love those ending credits. The visuals on the holographic interfaces and the end credits. Like, people talk about intros that you never skip. I never skipped those end credits. The music. I don't know if they just went back and pulled a really good master of the First Contact theme, or if they re-recorded it with an orchestra, but it was gorgeous, and I love that they gave you hints to the entire season in the credits.
Yeah, that was really
just
cool.
Revealed themselves. It was really skillfully edited and put together. You couldn't really figure anything out from the end credits.
I think it was the one which was, it turned out to be like Jack broadcasting to the Borg cube. I was looking at it and went, that kind of looks like the Vija array. That looks like a little bit of one of those credits from the motion picture when you're seeing like all the explosions happening. I was kind of going like, maybe it's like Vija. He's going to be the son of like Ilea and Decker. I'm like, no, he's Borg.
Yeah, I love the fan service in the Section 31 archive. Throw the Genesis torpedo in there. Throw Kirk's skeleton in there. Do it all.
That's just them saying like, okay, we've got Paul Wesley. Let's Shatner's too old. Maybe we can bring him back this way.
Yeah, and I love the look. Get you someone the way Geordi looks at Data in your life. Geordi's joy and happiness at seeing his friend come back was just...
That was good, yeah.
Beautiful.
Especially when he was talking to Law as well, when his daughter was in danger, because there was the point where Sydney was fighting various. Okay, my next pet peeve. I know I wasn't going to do pet peeve, but were they changelings or were they just putty men from Power Rangers?
Generic.
Yeah, exactly. They seem to get taken down by various people far too easy. Anyway, pet peeve over. But yeah, no, the way when he was talking to Law on the other side, he had like Alandra on one side, he had Sydney fighting for her life on the other. Was just sort of, I was very much like, holy shit. Why couldn't you get directors to get LeVar Burton acting this well in TNG? Because like he's great. Like he brought that Roots energy, definitely.
It's because he had a hair beret over his eyes.
Yeah.
Well, that too, yes. I suppose Insurrection was the other time, wasn't it? When he's staring into the sunset, just going like, it's not worth it. Okay, Frank.
So obviously, all the great answers have been taken. Yes. Amanda Plummer is Vadic, just top of the notch. Yes, Liam Shaw, Todd Stashwick, can't get any better than that. Yes, the music, the absolute top. And you even, Captain Kirk, stole an answer that I had that I was like, well, no one's going to steal this. Geordi was beyond great. He got a moment to shine as his own man, as a father, as a ship architect, just all this stuff. So I have to go in a little bit slightly different direction, although acknowledging all of those were great. I will say 3. Michael Dorn was brilliant as an aged but still Klingon warrior. Worf. He absolutely.
I have made some chamomile tea. Do take sugar. Was just
nailed the shit out of it from that moment until the snoring on the bridge. Just, I mean,
yeah.
He just, it was.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that Klingon pacifism is, I'll still kill you, but I'll feel bad about it. Like this.
That was another bait and switch moment from the trailer. Oh, I'm a pacifist now. Cut to him killing and slaying about 50 people, beheading them. Yeah, but I'm going to meditate afterwards. So. I'm not sure that's pacifism, but yeah, whatever.
Number 2. I will, and I had to actually pull up the name so I got them right. It's a rare moment when you get a series like, okay, we got Discovery. We obviously know it's ending now, but we got all this background bridge crew that it took us a while to get to know them, but they've stayed consistent and we've gotten to know them. We know their names. They've all had basically episodes about them, so we've learned about them. Strange New Worlds, we know we're not going to see a lot of these people in the Star Trek future, so something unfortunately has to happen, but we get to spend some time with them and we get to learn about them. I like in the limited time that they had that there were 3 key people.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you, I've got to say this right. Tabak Vert Association. Thank you for following. Sorry, Karen.
That's a tongue twister. I like that we got 3 specific, not LaForge named crew members of the Titan that we got to see every episode and interact with. Stephanie Zachowski, Joseph Lee, and Jim Malley. Stephanie played the Vulcan lieutenant, Tavine, who dies, but she stole, whenever she was on screen, she stole the moment because she was so striking looking. She had a little bit
also,
of Ilea.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. That was deliberate, I think. I think they tried to invoke a little bit of Ilea with that. She also plays, if you've ever watched Doom Patrol, she also plays one of the Crazy Jane Alt's Hammerhead in that as well, and she's very good in that. It is a shame. It is a shame.
I was gutted.
Yeah, I'm just like, come on, anyone else?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's a really good point, Frank.
But she is a very known sort of a cancer sufferer, very known charity proponent of various cancer charities as well. So definitely go follow her Twitter and sort of support.
No, she's a badass.
Absolutely, yeah. It's absolutely interesting. Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, to piggyback on your point, Frank, like, yeah, that was another thing I loved was the species diversity on the Titan. I know that's from the comic. Like, it's, how many member worlds are there? Like 90? at this point. The idea that
God,
you
yeah.
have these majority human crews is ridiculous.
It was the animated series all over again, where it's like, oh, hey, we can actually have a cat person or
But they've
Eric's.
still not done
you
a
know.
Cation
Wait,
live.
there was Vulcan, Bajoran. Who else did we get?
Oh, because the girl with the thingy head, is that Temerian, something like that, maybe?
I think so. Hold on, I had to look it up.
It's an established race, so we know that.
Hellion.
Hellion.
Or Hallian. Jen Malley plays Hallian Communications Officer Ensign Kova Rin Esmar.
Esmar, that's the one, yeah.
But yeah, you had a Bajoran, a Vulcan, and a Hellion. A Borg human.
So how many people do you think got killed? Like, because it was like anyone over the age of 25, right, was gonna get.
Yeah, that was the
I mean,
was the
do
hooks
you
of
think
like,
there's more people killed than at Wolf 359? Can Picard
Yes,
finally be
absolutely.
you know what? Someone else did killed more Starfleet than me.
I think so, maybe. Like the son's always got to outdo the father, hasn't it? It's just like, well, I can do genocide better than you, Dad. Come on, Nikitas, whatever. I'm Vox. But
Well, I'm not going to go with an obvious one for my number 3
Oh, go on.
because I think you'll take it. But just in that remember berries that they did along the way, it was so good to see not only someone who I personally know and that I've not been able to reveal until now because I've had to be secret about this, but I'm actually related to. But the brilliant Daniel Davis returning, even for a moment, as Moriarty.
You related to Daniel Davis?
Oh, you
I
kept
am
that secret
related to
until
Are you
Daniel
really?
Davis.
Wow,
Yes.
that's a,
That's
Couldn't say
amazing.
anything about it because I knew he was going to be
How
on. But
related? What is he
wow.
like? Uncle? Second uncle? First, third cousin? Twice removed?
I can safely say that I can give you his phone number and his address right now.
I mean,
look at that.
10 seconds of Googling will do that for most people. Like,
That's exactly how I got
That's
it.
what's that is
that
awesome.
kind of related.
I'm
all right.
stealing his identity. Yes,
Right.
we inhabit the same planet.
I was gutted that he didn't have a bigger role. But
No, even-
Uncle Daniel, do you remember me? You've never heard of me, but I heard you had some money from acting on this show. I have a foot surgery I have to have suddenly because I dropped a can of mustard on my foot.
some collarbone surgeries.
Moriarty was
Yeah.
great. Moriarty was definitely one of my high points. Like, just him reciting the, like, you know, I think, therefore I am. Like, having, just hearing, even though it was brief, I would have loved
There's
to
a
have
show
him.
for you.
Go on.
Moriarty and his missus traveling the galaxy and
Yeah.
the fake hologram thing.
Moriarty and
Him,
Bartholomew.
would he be solving crimes or causing crimes? He'd be like Bender, you know, like the protagonist is really the villain, you know.
That hollow cube was blown up when Deanna Troi crashed the saucer section into
slander.
Viridian 3.
Okay, so my favorite bit was of this really was kind of like the amount of slander people have been doing over the years to Deanna Troi's driving ability, to the point where it's just like, I'm at the helm, I'm gonna navigate through the Borg cube, and I'm gonna do a sick drift over the top of like Picard and everyone and beam them up and get out of there. It's just like, you know, they did it for that exact reason, but it was still fun.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely. Because it was the last time the Enterprise D was in one piece. She was at the helm. Everyone else was at the same
I
stations,
mean,
right?
let's be fair. It was already crashing when she took the helm. She just
Oh,
managed
she-
to.
yeah,
She did
that's
the
blame.
safe landing. Like, that is. We've all made that. We've all made. Every one of us here has been guilty of making that joke. You cannot deny it. You have done it. Come on.
No, I always defend her, actually, because I think that's ridiculous. In fact, now I'm proven she landed so well that they were able to rebuild the entire ship.
Well, and I've constantly said my biggest problem with Generations is it wasn't her fault, and I will go on record right now and say it was Geordi LaForge's fault because he's the worst engineer in Starfleet because he let the whole ship blow up because he couldn't just eject the warp core. Every time he's got to duck and cover underneath the sliding doors because he's got a warp core breach.
Is it Worf's fault for not, like, maybe I should scan Geordi for listening devices after he's been captured by the Klingons. No, he's fine. I'm sure he's fine.
The worst part is this is the second time it's happened because Geordi got abducted by the Romulans and they hacked his visor. It's like, it happens once. Fool
And
on me,
Worf was
happens
right there
twice.
for that too. It's always Worf's fault and Geordi's fault. They are the problems. They are the true villains.
It is interesting how they never showed Geordie's wife. They never alluded the fact of this, because in All Good Things, he alludes to Alandra and Sydney, which they follow up on, which is great. But he does say his wife, Leah, and everyone's like, really? Leah Brahms? And like, we're kind of hoping it's a different Leah, but they never show her, which is, okay, that's fine. Just, tell mom I'm not going to be home for dinner tonight, That's
because
typical...
they don't want to deliver the message of like, sometimes stalking pays off. Like, that's not the central message of Star Trek.
I mean, what do you think he's doing on his own private Enterprise D and his own private starbase? I mean, you really think he's married to Leah Brahms? No.
How did you feel? How did you feel about the D coming back for the heroic moment?
Amazing.
Yeah,
loved it.
Yeah,
you missed it earlier, but I have a massive problem with it.
Oh, really? Sorry, I
yes. You were away. You nipped to the loo. All the lights were on. That's the dumbest thing.
Oh,
ever.
I came
Why
at the
are
end of that
all
conversation.
The lights on? Yeah. It ruined my immersion. No longer a true story. Geordi once again,
it's a
terrible
display
engineer.
model.
In my head,
it's a museum piece. It's in display mode.
In my head, that starbase is huge, right? So where they're having they have all the different starships around on the different rings. That starbase is huge. That is not just crewed by LaForge and by Geordi and Alandra. Like, there is a team of like hundreds of thousands of people there. My headcanon is like that. Yeah, about 50 of them came over to the Enterprise or so. Like, he just said, "We're launching. Let's go." Like, I can't imagine. I think there's just like budget constraints. They would have had that scene from like when the saucer separation happens in like Encounter at Farpoint, scene of just people just going, come on this way, and someone in a scant walks past and like they assume the stations. Like, I think they would have funneled some people over in the starbase to kind of go, yeah, join the Enterprise D, we're off to go wreck some shit, come on.
Yeah, there must have been a few thousand people on the starbase.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you, Idol, though, because and anyone else that got to see that blind without knowing that was coming, and even though I only waited a couple of days to watch that episode, YouTube thumbnails absolutely destroyed that reveal.
That is a shame. That is a real shame.
I would have lost my shit, watching that, because I would have been.
I think I had.
So
I mean,
amazing.
There was.
How was it for you?
So there was an inkling. I mean, I had an inkling. I knew it was coming because you had Sydney turning around in the first or second when LaForge came on saying like, "Oh, what about what's in Bay 43 or whatever it was." And there was also a text or a tweet somewhere I read, and this is my own fault for just being so promiscuous online, of like LeVar Burton just saying like, oh yeah, they rebuilt the Enterprise D bridge, and Patrick Stewart said he missed the carpets. I'm just like, I think they're going to bring back the D. I think it's going to happen. Like, so I kind of, in my head, my expectation was they were going to take the entire fleet from the Fleet Museum, including the Enterprise A and like all the other Voyager and Defiant would have been that would like they would have gone like, we're going to link our own system. We're going to that was my expectation, but they brought the D out, and they were still.
I'm glad they didn't.
I was still amazing.
Yeah, they heavily foreshadowed that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a surprise, but it was like you got goosebumps watching it come out of the hangar anyway.
With all the remember berries that they did this entire season, I mean, your brain could logically make the leap that okay, the ship's going to show up at some point.
Well, but I thought it was going to be the E. I was waiting for the E to turn up because I thought, well, the D has been destroyed. It's not going to be the D. It's going to be the last one that we saw that we associate with.
I thought that too, but when we got Data back, all bets are off. Anything is possible.
And they even mention the E, and they say, like, because Worf took command of it, which was established in a book, and they kind of canonized it and stuff. And he goes, "Oh, what happened to the E?" And he goes, "That was not my fault." And it was like, but,
so what did What did happen to it? Is that
We
established?
don't know. And that's really bugging me because I need to have my complete chronology of all the Enterprises, and that's the one fucking omission now. Like, we know what happened to all the other. Well, apart from the B. The B is the other one. We don't know which. We just got decommissioned. But like,
if it was Worf, it got rammed into something. He shouted ramming speed, and it got rammed into something.
Yeah, I would have liked to have known. Like, I feel like it's too good looking of a ship for them to just hand wave over.
I've got another one that I did like.
Go on.
If everyone else is, have you done point 3? Did you do point 3, Frank?
He did. Did you do point 3?
Yes.
Go.
There was quite a bit of closure in it. There was still some threads and storylines throughout Trek that got a nice little play. And the Royal one, I think we've already touched upon it earlier, which was lovely. And there was a couple others, and obviously Picard's lack of family was well addressed. I did every now and then get a sense that I was watching Fast and the Furious: The Next Generation, because there's a lot of family. We're family. Everyone's family.
Yeah.
And there was obviously I'm guessing it was an intentional parallel with Wrath of Khan.
I mean, there is. If you go on Reddit every week, there's a very, very, I don't know their username, but the very, very cool person that does a canon connections every week, and they do their research, and they go, right, this is all the different things all the things we spot in this episode that link to various canons, and they have a little bit of a sense of humour when they go and they said every time they call Jack not David Marcus, and I think that's the funniest part, because essentially it is the same storyline as like Picard's like, I have a son I didn't know about or I hadn't seen for a long time, and here he is, and he's going to be crucial to my development of this plot line. Oh no. So
I don't know if it was intentionally we're going to try and replicate that, or whether it was because it was heavily
that scene.
I say heavily into it was outright stated in Star Trek Generations when the brother and the nephew sadly pass away. And and then he goes into the Nexus, and you realise he always actually wanted a family, even though he'd always said, "Oh no, I'm
Starfleet's the only family I ever need."
Exactly. Thank you.
There was that scene.
Me out my early memory there.
There was that scene where Crusher comes up to the bridge, assisted by by Riker, and is guided on. You have that unspoken look between Picard and Crusher, and she just nods, and then Liam Shaw asks the question, "So why should we do it?" And he just turns around and goes, "Because he's my son." And I was like, that was a very cool moment. Like, as much as it kind of is a little bit of a leap to kind of go, oh, Crusher had a hidden son and then hid herself for 20 years and like no one can make contact. It was a little bit felt a bit, I don't know, I don't want to say disrespectful because it's fine, but it felt a little bit like off for the character and relationship that they've had for her to keep that a secret, even though they have that conversation. Well, they have the conversation about it as well.
But she's a redhead.
But yeah, I think
I might be.
But who knows? I could be too. By the time they had that conversation, by the time you had him acknowledging that he was his son, I kind of felt like, oh no, this is a cool plot point. I like this as, okay, it feels more than just a copy of the David Marcus storyline. This feels like the missed connection that Picard and Crusher fleetingly had and now have been forced to have.
Also, not for nothing, but it was a tall drink of handsomeness. It was a good-looking fellow.
He was. Ed Spielers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's way too good-looking, by the way. This is ridiculous.
Fully straight, but man, it's a good-looking boy.
I am excited to see him do more with that character because Star Trek has had his many lovable rogues over the years, from O'Connor to Riker himself. Like, that character has been exposed, but to have the added twist of just like, I'm a little bit of no one, I'm a little bit everyone, but also I'm Picard, like, is a nice touch as well.
I loved how they explained the accent as well.
Yeah. He went to London and
what happened to
Madonna? Like Cockneys 500 years in the future.
Yeah.
And the adding in the little like extra meat of Delancey going to be.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's that's so good. I mean,
That was
come on.
weird because it's like, oh, you think in such a non-linear way. It's like, oh yeah, must you be like that? Was cool. I like that. It makes no sense, but it's brilliant. I'm going to torture another Picard because fuck you.
Yeah. The trial never ends.
It actually explains season 2 a little bit more, because if he's involved with his son and maybe like a whole line of Picards throughout history, then he would come back and like have that sort of affection for Picard at the end of his life.
The funny thing is, I want John Delancey just to never be recast. So John Delancey could be like 102. He's going to be on Star Trek the next generation with like David Picard. I'm like, I'm still haunting you. And like it's just
with,
oh my
with
God.
the ear horn.
Yeah, it's like
that he has from TNG. What's that?
Yes, this is all ruse. Although no, Delancey he was still put off. Oh, anything else about Picard? Any last thoughts you guys want to have about it? Because we this feels like this is me expunging like all this kind of like I can't spoil on this channel or like our Discord for ages. Like I want to expunge and just get it all out there. But is there anything else you guys want to say? Frank, let's start with you. Any more comments on the season or the season Picard as a whole in general?
It was the most fitting ending to a show and a generation and a cast that I've seen in a long time, problems aside with leaving all the lights on. And very few things could have been done better. It would just be nitpicking at this point. Terry Matalas should be like immortalized in some form of Hall of Heroes for the miracle work he did, pulling all that off. And I only hope that future iterations of Trek shows treat stuff with the same passion and reverence and respect and enjoyment that they did with this run, because it really hit it home that they weren't just there getting a paycheck or doing a role that they auditioned for. They were doing something they legitimately wanted to do and bring out into the world.
Shy.
You know, the true mark of greatness for any show to me is like how much I want to rewatch it. And even just talking about it now with you guys has sort of triggered my rewatch urge. Like I want to go back and just rewatch that whole third season. And really even the whole series, because I'm a completionist. I like watching whole things through. But yeah, it was just the same way Nepenthe in the first season was just like a warm blanket, like a warm hug from whole family. That whole season 3 was that. It was just like a nice family reunion with people that you've missed. Yeah. It's like after the pandemic when you finally got to see all your friends again. You're like, this is amazing.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
I get to see all people.
It's a really good analogy.
Mr. Monkey.
It's hard not to just simply echo what Frank and Shai have said, albeit probably far less eloquently. But I did love the with the put yourself on mute. Come on, with your mechanical keyboard.
Frank, you're typing. You're loud typing.
But,
oh, you're playing maracas. I can't work out. Sorry, go on.
It was a beautiful farewell to something that was so intrinsically part of my youth growing up, and now I'm a bit older than you, Idol, but coming home from school and watching the Next Generation at 5 o'clock on Sky One.
Yeah,
it was part of my daily ritual, and to 30 years later to see that cast and crew get the send off and the goodbye that they really were robbed of, I think, by not having that final movie. Lovely, wonderful, loved it. I think All Good Things was a wonderful end as well. So not to disparage that, I'm not saying that wasn't a good send off, but it was. I loved it. Did the holodecks really need to have their own separate power supply when the ship was dying and we're all going to die? Oh, the holodecks are still okay.
Yeah.
All right. Apart from that, yeah. Loved it.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up a good point. How many shows can nail one finale, let alone two?
Yeah.
And they nailed like twice. That's crazy. All Good Things is one of the greatest series finales of all time.
Hard agree on that, definitely. Yeah. Like yeah, I think Picard season 3 to me was a lot of what's the word? Expunging a lot of emotions for what Trek is in 2023, in this day and age of the Kurtzman era of Star Trek. It expunged a lot of fan reactions as well for like, we want to see our old characters, we want to see some of references, we want to see some of the good old days, we want to see some resolutions to old storylines, and I think Picard season 3 did exactly that. And God bless Terry Matalas for bringing that, because it puts in perspective the rest of Trek, like Star Trek Discovery being its own thing, like Lower Decks being its own thing, and Prodigy, and Strange New Worlds, and it emphasizes more the point, like, here is the Star Trek made from someone that loves Star Trek, that wants to finish and right all the wrongs that we have forgotten from Star Trek, like the lost ends, like the Rose storyline, like the Crusher Picard storyline, and in the Borg Queen storyline as well, to an extent. Here it is. This is us. This is them putting someone in charge that wants to resolve all these things and now wants to do more. And I am very interested to see what that more is with, Captain 7 and the Enterprise G on whatever that is, with the same ethos that Picard season 3 has of, they want to call it Star Trek Legacy. I hope they make it more a cohesive storyline without sacrificing things for the sake of, we want to get from point A to point B, but we don't care how we get there. But I think that season 3 is a good stepping point for something that could happen in the future. I think there's definitely some good, providing Paramount will pay it, especially with the writer strikes that are now going on. Let's hope that something can come out of this, and we will see something that maybe is the best of what Strange New Worlds is doing, which is making new and interesting stories, to what Picard wants to do, which is bringing back parts of our past that we dearly love, that we have grown up with, that are the reason we are here today, and making them into something amazing. Or they'll fuck it up and we'll hate it like season 1 of TNG. Who knows?
Code of Honor, greatest of all time.
On that note, it is probably time I went to bed. But no, thank you, Mr. Monkey, for joining us, LowCostMonkey. Thank you very much for joining us. Last minute, I invited you on. Well, it's about 6 hours ago. Thank you, Shy. Thank you, Frank, for joining us today. Congratulations, Shy, for finishing your legendary run on the amazing Khan the musical. We will be back. I'll wait for the marriage to play. We will be
Tickets
back.
no longer available at khanascoming.com.
Unfortunately not. He has expended his juices. He is no longer coming. We will be back on Saturday. I'm so sorry. I will be back on Saturday for a pros.
How many times did you hear that joke?
For Pros and Cons, featuring no less the Duras Sisters podcast. A sister versus sister are going to come and decide, was Worf justified in his killing of Duras? We will be debating that very much so on Saturday at the usual time, followed by the following week we'll be having on June the 16th, no, the 14th, we will have our Strange New Worlds pre-season 2 breakdown and chat and talk about what we expect, what we think is going to come, what the final trailers show. Let's have a big hype mission for that. And if you haven't seen it, go to the YouTube, and please, we have been carrying on with the Star Trek Treks. I've now included all the watch-alongs on there as well, so you can watch along with us and watch our review. We very soon, in the next couple of... I think on Monday, we'll have our review of Enterprise's Strange New World as well, which is quite fitting for the timing, really. Didn't plan that at all. And me, Stars and Racing, we watched The Last Outpost for TNG, which will be coming in a couple of weeks, which is... our reactions go straight from the watch along to the review are pretty hilarious as well. So it's worth watching that. But thank you guys for joining me, for joining us for all this amazing Trek. We will see you soon. I'm going to play Big's Jeopardy video again because
this is the end.
This is the end, my friend.
What are you, new to YouTube? You gotta say, thanks everyone for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like button. It really helps us out. Let us know what you think in the comments. And, smash that bell, whatever the fuck that does.
Like and subscribe, dude. Everyone do that. If you want to. I'm not going to force anything on anyone. There we are.
No, like it.
Comment, like, and subscribe. Smash that notification bell for future updates.
Do this.
You will be updated when I tell you I'm going to update. Okay. Anyway, we will see you later. Live long and prosper. Enjoy some more Big's version of Jeopardy. Ta-ra!
A quality control specialist from Greenville, Texas, Jared Watson.
Jared, you are our new Jeopardy champion. Congratulations. Oh, man, is right.
I do not know.
It is the HMS Pinafore.
Mr. Worf, do you know Gilbert and Sullivan?
No, sir. I have not had a chance to meet all the new crew members since I have been back.
They're composers, Worf. From the 19th century.